business. For example, eyo mwani tunatoka feasibility study eyo nene kutsivu ni project nene kutsivu kairima mawa kutsivu so ngali suggesting it in principle tuwe tute project eyiringe yesubyo maba body of directors tubahi obutukubuke bakole feasibility eye proposal eyo twamalanga tutiyanje nakola ibitwaletayo mwabanene itwikiririayo hano sitwangatsuka proposal eitauti study vakesha wakatosha subula ketwa tuti yavererema twabirira mwese bilioni na se bilioni yavere college yavererema. It is a principle.
Wasinja kutsibu
kale mama mabe twabula lereryo ebya bamemba bakaleta nebihano their suggestions so bano banemoholekerera eribwindiro watoma chikirisimasi ndio munja tukachikora aro abantu bakayikala bambo abamebo bambo tukole ekine changana tokekana kwesheye now esa ni mama proposing for example ngo mwani tukisa tukasoma AGM ikasa body yabwinde mtu akole feasibility study twamarangirende e business yo mwani yangana tokekana kweya na ko right iya na tokekana bedo reherere proposal sichirita bobe kundi mugaula abantu bachi bebirengekanyo wasinja kutseba Reverend Mukonzo
wasinja bwa kusicha mabe ikutrama ya ndratutia india hanule ndibwa kushepati yitwanga nalwa kuyo alenge twaendro kwa chenda kunde chama bere menyekandisha proposal serahalia omwa principle twamalia tusiche ndi ulia company twaba tukende kolachi a business neribwe feasibility study elebye business eyanga trover twaba tulekera ya bandu valia vende bakongolosanai otherwise twamabilia tutebyamulia proposing abikolirechi bihiki dwereteshekele byo kubutukubu nene echerele bya kungekesako esako abandu abero beno yikabenga yabakalola kundi bwana government chikale kina sini kunde chesako kiringe chikituwa ticha esha sente singana na shatu wit nebya tuwiti ebi twamabulikira tukakola sako norowe government ekindoro ndamwe sha sente abandu abahasiri aha abahashema bahutatia billions and billions of money eyesha sako kandi tubusingo ko turahano tukayiwekesha sente obule mundu akaita ka sente twamakola banga eyabandu bekombe bini ebi eyabandu shangumini esako yangana kola neribindi abwindi kwisi tukiweku tokwameche watutwamalia tukende kole business ayatukela tuyekenda kola eyatwover namabu
wasinja rahabura but we cannot just go blindly honorable kwanza Messiah mulenga soma chumo kwa chumo abagabo ambu tukole sako abagabo ambu tuleke kole sako abagabo ambu ecosystem esako ya malabamu abagabo ambu ecosystem tutashale bayamuyu ebera tutashabe hondulandeke Matromaidani anatote memorandum and articles of association yetu tuende tukole tuende tu amendinge hiyo and I think it's your report mole a computer training center tukole kwa sheye abakawa tukole hiyo abakawa mturoki kolayu a computer training center bamanayo abakawa mbe nyumba yetu office yiria tupangisa ibye lodge abakawa mbe yehe bamana mbe office yetu yirikibya lodge abakawa mbo eritakalie nanga eritakalie area burule area burulireni tukore mwe parking ni bayi aba mabaki bama banene abagabo ambu tulikoleshe parking ama bana kabasatu munga sobora rendia ende tuteritaka lirie kwa burulireni ebrulile ni yiruka ndo machidodo abasi ahamwangu yakahimbe huteri ahali chuma chero nzori petrol station waimano kwa kolas ngokutu nimene hano eitakali rurire hakuhi ngamanyimbo ora masamalira hakabunwa mamarangara manyimbo wa chitongole chevishe shanda gali distance yanganabya nyengaho so eritakale no travelere ula rene osali umubiri watu kalikolesaya so tukadangara tutwamalite ko olutu abantu bakapa mashamuto kashabu ni shapichipichi omundu eri apakingamo akatwesha sente enaso mwachiru mbulani mutrunji na shamu mutoka yewu abisha yo manja chena sene ndai ko hyo muolo enatusira kasente akasenda hauka nabya income eye company aba kabwangwa itaka eru likole satlotia neba hai chama rabam kale aba kabwambo eitakali ibanda esenda shama baneka etwangana sale kolesha ebi tourism embere nuko abende bakore feasibility study warangiranga changana toke kana eitakali tuli ibanda ngatwangana kore ko byoburamburi neba hai chama rabam aba kabambo emiteyereko sura yeyo yangatuleta kasende kangakola byeto makiranizia kwaba ne bahaye chamara bam kale hamabyana ya utachiri banning okwa directors report angana chire izinga I think Roma biri unzarera yamasaka daika musanju obudu gwatwanga hwai
We have one here.
Thank you, CS. Amazina nabanyeta Rantayebwa Smith ni Gabushenyi. Nabanyine guidance. Nko kutwichereza nangu sente tubanze tuziteko mu treasury bills. Nabaninshaba twachihinguza mureke sente tuziteko mu treasury bills. Then tuhereze new board a chance for this transition time bakore feasibility study. Then vijena viable project eitura akore. Otherwise it is not a do or die. Tumuguza kwata cent, you have small money. Tumuguza tam treasury bills mukatandika paka mukatandika echo machomwani mukatandika sako, we are going to lose all that money. Let all the money we have be put in one in the treasury bills as we recover. You are now recovering from a shock. You lost the project, you should admit. So don't panic picking this and that. The small money we have is also going to be lost in the whole process when you are running up and down. Let us first keep the money, give the chance to the upcoming leadership to do a study for this year. After all, our money will be making profit. Then come up with a viable project that will make us money. Otherwise, we are going to lose the small we have. I submit. Thank you.
Okay, wasinja oyama buhati kwa batwa lusungu wile yenda kwatende area ama buhati ateka sendeka ikatru wite tutukereka veka tukafika ma treasury bill body ebyatwa mikiranizia kubeno ine musa cha hai twangasubicha kwa cha hai twangasubicha kwa cha hai noko tukata sasoma kwa kasa eba wa mtwabere langera o abantu byatwakiraniza yako tutsukechi ekisatsu bukaku na ekisatsu bukaku bude buhabuli akabule tena. Yes.
Tata wansinya kutsebo ama naye nije katosoro ngale member wa Kilembe Investments Limited.
Ukalwai
Ngalo rugenda bara. Neryo abasi akurwa bara hano. Echinde cyo musi akurolya amahikako n'ikikuru kutsebo. Treasury bills city controlled by Bank of Uganda. Esente sinyuma masiro mu treasury bills mukamanya ndi safe. Nere kandi government ka yinimba ha magoba inyuma munagaramire nere mwasamu ka abirkarana nere mutunga magoba ne murangabe mukakora beto munawire esya sako omudisi syabere wa hano esya sako syabere rema esente sinyuma masiro masako so njenda saba esente to masiro treasury bills because I'm an accountant and I know to masiro my government my Bank of Uganda esikede se namubuta ito numusamalira nebe ndo ibi itwa biwulye netwa esente sisosiro mu treasury bills beto twamaenda mu bintu abajo bukisa abairamu nera abajo basiri mu abadane kira bakora
kale wasinja aha umushakuro
wasinja kutsiba. I'm going to be brief.
Yes. Tolekerane
bata chairman page 8 ahakakanira kwa company land and buildings. Number 3 akagana tuite sha hectare 0.4 of titled land on Kilembe on Kogere Road inda savanga ngana tugaidinga nga efiga inga inehikire 0.4 hectares. That is too much land. Sinyesi intengana sindanuni ploti iye 50 by 100 feet. So chumukinyire reveria chunga achinahikire. It is a wrong record here on paper.
Kale, we are going to check with the title. The good thing is the title land. Beti ni poroti. Yimbere kwe nyumba. Eye mbera ni gorofa. Eye nyuma ni shaboys quarters. Nyumba poroti yosi na himbiri. But we shall cross check with the size acreage on the land title. Okwa chere Kilembe quarters.
So it's a fact. Kilembe quarters yangalengana ne vuruli lane. Siberengene ye.
Yeah, we shall cross check.
Okay, thank you.
Wasinja observation.
Nechende emiti ya trade ya mubuku. Tukaka na akuyu. Actually last AGM mubani kani akuyu and I tasked Jane emberaho recommending akuyu. Tuweta emiti tuwabili mweshe milioni asatu nini. Tuka herayo kwa litakali ya National Forest Authority. Still tuletunga update echiberanga chimene chitu. Wanduwa kamba emiti ya yuma. But we come here and do not take account of what is happening. Omwaditakaeri 34 million ni sende sinene kutsevu. Emiti maybe elemire batubwere kabana matatubwere iri ibanda twamanya kune kuyiwete circumference ye 1 meter. Baha eye mubuku ire yetu. Number 3. Chihambe no kwa situtrowa magoba. Kundengane siku tukahulikira audit report. Beto mami akai hwere chairman akanabia makania akatuburanga twanawubire kutsinga trowire. Did he leave this out deliberately? Why don't we just become open with each other? So that we move here and when we are very clear. Echakani chihambenge na kwa constitution memorandum of understanding. Mutu wakole sovi control electrikiriria. Tuka watu erekoma omwa AGM. Yutoleriria be according to head per head rather than per share value. Tutole tuke enuni business travel nduraimwa political party kuti mu NGO. Mukenga nyira bawote shashya nyike. Omabuto mundu we share yanguma. Ahatera kalulu akalingana mundu we milioni 10 aba board directors yabo shabawote milioni 10 ngokwa bana and over. So mukamukatera kalulu ngatukole business ye chibiriti kuti eri ulie shande. Ewo milioni 10 aho. No wote share yanguma. Nyibo simukahanika mikono. Na you cancel kanyonyi na inimane na mareme kono at the cameras are capturing. Na leso trasubeka. Really this is a business and you're making the decision making be level. So tukishatuka subuko constitution ngali abasaba. Akandra kumuka suba yem and I am sorry to say we acted so quickly mutu asaga a very big figure ya olesha shares ngaho. Promasa tutakirisha beka tu dominating omasha AGM heno. Neriba hatuli mubuhire sahenu that very shareholder muhira kune ceiling mutu ekishaura million bikome bebere and plus so mama bohero ko million bibiri yabi yet this is a business that needs more investors but mwamabiri chingera bandro mutu bekidashire ko million bebere are you still interested in doing business really mukatasa omundroyo mutu kunda kibega drum na his decision will be fine. Neriba basing on that okwain the recommendation yetu kaundro mu constitution muli yetu hambo kwa cap kwa ceiling yeyo million bebere. You are a business, therefore you need investors, you need people to bring in more money. We are not here to compete for positions here and there. Chamale ke birenge kanyo byetu ne decision making here be affected kondo mabiri yo chibiriti olia area shakatram mutuhanika mikono mukane kwa treasury bond aba see you nibanga a treasury bond training even takes a whole week bane mukusomesha kwa treasury bond nganichi na tukatisha michi maana okay trauma drum tukavenda beji basing on that same point a constitutional report a forum lero munagore simute chibuli yako but you all agree with me muti forum si hikiri abandungumini quorum sorry quorum wasinja abandungumini shareholders simwanganyi wera mche quorum munabwire twabiri hichai betikisi twabirenda we are going ahead with the AGM. What am I saying? I'm not suggesting that we stop the meeting, but nakuna kutuka hambeko mugendo mu constitution nimwe chavini chiraro che government kwa chirichiti ambwe quorum yitreho. Our council can see what to advise the board to do. Otherwise, we shall not be delaying to make decisions. How a quorum, and for that matter, you have had one investor. Agabat yari atrula, alianza atrule. Everybody eshanamba singa honga bandungu mini ava. But indicate there is a decision making. Now that is how we talk in business. That is how we talk. Eribukala lyabandu omundu omutwalo muuma kiuka mutwalo mana mbindu eri musubyeka kandi kasubeka utukuchandaro mabyala really. And I gave this point when we were still sitting at Verena Gardens. And tunamo sato mwasendeshe business. Mwana mchamcha mukasuru che sende ngenda yikurabana nabana bayibane buli mwana mutwalo itwasuru jana mutwalo mwende twasubana yeka. And then we clap hands. So this is where we're ending today. Echeru unzerera lukana bya mamasa modre mukana bya mamasa hano ngokuma treasure proposal mutudrem neliba kana bankesi ndi decisions esikakola wasimutetrubulia. I am sorry echeru le nyumba kwa nene. You sank a lot of money in buying that office. It is a beautiful house. You have made it beautiful. How much money is it generating? Should have been the question of the board. Enyumba mabirunza mwaka muuma tongole tujema tetwingiririe hate muri muhira mwe duka enyumba business ye masinyerezi babira mwe duka. Okay, so things are not moving so smoothly. Eripangisha shamato have personally tried to bring you a customer eripangisha kwa shamato kasere emoto kempiri nikere ukabarabara dumutwe wikingu matrukani kemipira but the client has gone away. So Eshamato kesyo never we should have seen these things 1 year ago. The government every true warning at bantukachinga masenyerezi. We should have started preparing ideas ngesha treasury bonds yenjenga sumiso kwa treasury bonds. I'm an educator on treasury bonds voluntarily, and some of the members here approach me, including members on the leadership. A treasury bonds $1 million every tranwevyo kutrohere mwa treasury bond yo mwako wahwere nichi bo kande sende shabo sakasa okwo kubanza no kwa munani evero mwenda binasibwe sibiri teberezi neshende shako yukatunga bule mwaka bakakubwerasyo ambano kiyukatunga ko million 5 nichi million ngaenga eba kubwere sende shenyininyi munga nababura shoko WhatsApp. So let us listen to the members tunemwikarange body betu twantuka the other way around. Wotsukerulie nyumba na rwasuka wotsukerule nyumba na rwasuka banu chabere hwe nyumba inaho na riba tetulebe ngokutoka shako. That is firefighting. So let us follow the decision processes. Track it abana. When the government was taking away the electricity, we had time to think, and there are some members here who have not got a chance to be on the board, but who have very good ideas. Can you look for them when you're making such decisions?
Kale, maybe a quick response. Singa the education the butruku. Okwando bya shareholder baguma mabua wasinja which now that change.
Badanyi buleri nalia indi ninje muhendo Christmas baguma ngalwe senyi.
Kale. Okwaba shareholders omuze baguma is among the biggest shareholders we have. Oma top 5 mabandu batrano abawota sindana nana machitongole cheno anemu soka kabua akana kalro kukasende keu. Now echo kubanza makanga na kwa size ya chitako ebitaka bebere binu bya makani yako eche buruliren nejiri ko office ya Kilembe quarters without byapa. I agree with him. Area handeka a size maka missing up, but we are going to correct the report and put the correct size of the land. Kundi byapa benaho bino mu office na size yabyo kwa byapa echi kende bya sorted. Eche rutunga ama overview ma report ya chairman. I think chairman ni changana bichabara mu bulwako but tukaya tunga audit report igitukangania financial performance of the last financial year. Echitu kichitunga oma audit report ewele kana yakwa behamba no kwa MAA twabirikiranizia in the question yetu tuhamba koyo. So area hamba koyo a board ikasa malera tuhambe ukavira erubya hai ende kwa ikasa ngaba sabende musasa itukabesha proposals echatukala ende twamahundula omachira eru chetu mamarangira muti haneyende ekitesha tukolera ndeke eye board ititahambaku still obuto chini bwenyi mukisa tuhabula muti mutasha meningane chinechi nokutangamya tutamakola resolution ekabo tutamakola chirayero ejikitesha tusondora omwemya kai ya sawa. Otherwise observation is makola via the amendment of the MAA. The board has taken note and we shall consider them etukakola suggestions esheria amendinga the memorandum and articles of association, including a resealing a shareholding, a quorum, a recoma, nebende ebehambangeno kuchi okwamasenyerezi. Now a government there a business say no a changa za clarifying a chabaguma mabu a board mubehereyo tukubunyo honyo a government amuya to become a space muba tukae communicating ambaye umeme mwaka waka saba kindu lishehe a business bentasha hai itrahikamba na eshakamba nesekeseke bamana retrowera troma bimwe mwirima baketwe he business habera hakasa kamezi ya vere with the wise leadership ya chairman watbatu kivi kwa mwirimu mahamba a board troma yaba na ED or a Minister of Energy etuka yamubulia obutruku oba eture nuingira ma license ya tukabwabara hwai itoro government yaba netu communicating gira troma applying gira license troma for application ebraron kubyabikabu troma tukalangara se baletu subamu troma yihemba troma ende Kampala e body yosimu yaenda owa omwa ministry energy na RPS owa energy mtu meeting na ba commissioners na minister amaro ambano ye e cabinet ya bitwamu yete secretary sharing winga e license ye we are sorry twabiri delayinga e river communicating giri actually my meeting ema directing a commissioner in the next week tukatunge baroha twatungire baroha ehamasaka kwezikuuma e business ya kola yet iya end twabetunge baroha e body ya masiya mikal yemwe tukachinga our main source of income wa masenyerezi ebendo betukalusa yebwera ebyetukayalusa ya ekaterere ebyetukalusa yeshema tunamende sa tukatungesha sente esikapangisa ya amanyumba tukapangisha ambweye our shareholders every one brimbe kwa buruleni kwenye office omukwezi kuum tunimende himba mwe nyumba eya tukituka lo hatukapangisa ya hanu tukayasuba ambweye bamwe college muleke tule enyumba enahwere tutikole office tuteka mwe bendu ebilongwa sha office esha tule cooperating gramo twangatunga a home. That is a decision that was taken by the board in 1 month. Kuba ulabati enyumba eri Kilembe quarters babara ulai a government yabareka chinge business yamatekinga some of the offices eshatwa to cooperating ramu ngebwera ekatarere ne lubirizi ebindu byatu byabyayo twama behemba twama beteko muchi omwanyumba embyaka kutwanganire eri ure nyumba eyo ebindu byatu byabina ne kutsebu twangabule eri kolabati eri bihiri echakabere ambani mundu sazusie rent ahatwatuka pangisha kande ese twatatuki tuke rent eyo buli kwezi kundi rent tukatwa eyo buli kwezi chale kwa last meeting members bikiranizia indie board mika kolandeke eri ule nyumba ale wasende shabali ya ule kwa nyumba kundi bali asolo kwa sende sha maob basi covertinga mwa shares shaende okwaleje yachi eyabule mondo so esha sende shabali ya converted esha ule nyumba shabre yenda okwaleja eyabule mondo so echa malenga clarifying echo molekelangere board nga ya ule nyumba in bad faith but ya ulayu in the best interest eye company ne circumstances ya trabiamu nge board. Yes, direct shareholder
Wasinja amena ni CPA Tibasima Edward Erirwa Ekarambe ngasima chairman board ahabwa a report ye UN nge yikandiri detailed betu nga ute ko sane nguma okwa page 7 assets and stock status to date. Assets eshe kambane twamasa kunamba I think esha laptops hanu hakakangana ya hade tuote esha laptops mukaga beto kwa mukaga esini sikwire esibiri shesikakola kandi obutuko bunene ngabenga ni muhiko mu ofisi ya Kilembe Investments tunahe uruhalia au kingiramo obul staff eyenikera kwa meza na kabena na ute laptop iwale ofisi yetu yeshema yabe inabakoli nabo ngalengekana yaba na utisha laptops au kahikebwera nabo banawete benu chairman body abananga ba staff abamuntu wetu kabimani bakaenda mubata handinga item zishe eshetu ahabwa kituwite fige ya mukaga musaka ndisini sho sikwiri ngaranza uketu soborera kwako nekanduka akikasakangarwa ngawete masinja bakolo
kale owondo chairman akeyasubam
hano alwano mushakulu okay amenanga likule Henry Muhoto ngaro mombora ya chondro yakosani ya hiro kwa minimum shareholding aba shareholders abali below 1 share to 5 shares amando rukumino ruka plus ninga wenga lebia mama ana kabe soborera obolende ku bakali lunch eba ba transport seida mitwa rubiri warangera eba gaira company umalosi na ninga winde inga proposinga ende abandu abo abali below 5 shares and below aja shares shabo bamoshirani akikumya mahunzi eshabasi manisa boshaba rohwai bangabare dissolved neryo tubaira obutuku ngari komeningi tubaira obutuku omatamwenu tubaira yobutuku babye kibyo mu advert kibye publicity omasha medias kundi abanasi balikenu omuntu akasere pakire mu mute ekora musita hika baba ndo omuntu kasanga otro omuntu arumu ngaendera omuntu aruma 20 from mitwa riviri kandi ngaenda ngaote shangum nerinya neriasa inyale kana ekora muya nerihika therefore ngabwinde nga proposing ni tubairo obutuku ambe next AGM bana mbi formed sensitized bata to pick up to 10 shares babia dissolved off mwasinja that's my recommendation
kale ejesha computer nama biko saltinga chairman na ba directors omu office mejare baba kakolesha desktop esha computer esha ukataka kwa meza ekwa byene CPU abande abakoli baba kabyene shabo ngabando muruna kahinga ne computer yewe narakakaenda moenda nayo so abamporambosha computer esa handikire sisi na shasho no mabitabo ya company kesha na bakoli bakola battery bahandikisaya au ndia mabuli ate kwa besha 5 shares propose kama ni tuvia ma company tuba hobutuku tuba last time
hati last time twanabia hano mutwanula okwa channel kino about less than about nguma manyanga nibukire mutwaba hamezi mukaga na tramoto after mezi mukaga tukese taking a decision as AGM so tulikitasia postponinga a proposal yomusakulu ya mayikabwa yete babye dissolved neni ngebuli is that legally possible omwaberairo inyemwasese cooperatives abo tubayire tot twanga taking a decision ya munabwire please guide us
kale masinja Omabaraero omrama bya member so anga mutebetako. That is one. Alo wajatwanga kora kiwa abe shangu mangu meno turonda yesha sende eshangu mangu maba transferring yo kwa existing members rumenya tutoma kora batre bamalwamu. That is something that can be done. Ona that mucheherera ye board twende tukore implementation ye resolution abe shangu mangu ma twangara ngara kutukabi hamwa chitongole kundiriale erisu bya choko. It is a burden to the company. Honestly speaking, omundu omutwaru iwaunze myaka 10 okunana omutwaru ne transport nyisanyise ikakule tukasanurire ekitongole chao yikabya nene okwashe ye okolire wote eyawo wetu kondo mundu ikalwe bwera njengana kolise public ebwera ni sirinji kasanjo omwamutoka iwe ikali okwa round eri kwicha hanu rukumi kwa ingumi 2 isha sirinji kenda eukasubai esende kenda inamu mana kanani obu ahulio lo mapaka iwabendo mwabisano omabuli hamba kabado kwa rukumi okolishe mitwa 2 ni businesses ya hai erikolishe mitwa 2 ukwasahanulira omutwaro ndiye warangire business perspective ni ekolira iti CRM twamendo kwa a company expense ate mukamukarangira AGM expenditure yatukabye too high kuntukatunga very many people omundu abiri assistant solority owo mutwaro yando olera halia abe mitwa return mwende molera halia abe milioni 10 mwende molera halia itobo si expense ikatwa hambaku jointly ewasanga na AGM expenditure kwese ntetwa kolisa kwa AGM ishabiri byasene na kutsebu etuka spendinga okabandu bakabali asomerisha 2,000 aba ute hishe 5 nerisu bya hesi abandu 2,000 abatwa mabihamu esente shabakali atukasi sevinga reverend mukoto mndokali manembende omutwaru manembende times 2,000 nisinga abakolire kibaro yama mutwaru menga mutwaru manembende times 2,000 Shama asinga
ango ni milioni 3.
Shama milioni 3. Is it correct? Milioni 3. Twamamwa ali transport refund a minimum of 10,000. Tugawate mutwaru times 2,000. Shama asinga Shama milioni 2. Shama milioni 5. That is esesente tuka spending okwa mundu ngomundu esha ukatwara ukauka saha na omandeko ukabi wabetwara emitwaro mingahe mitwa return eyatwa bikuspendinga wa mundu wesinga owa mutwaro eredi yetu abiri pangishai eshatende yesu abiri spangishi twama bare baha maete twabiri ulao twabiri pangisha gatumbika wikereko omwanyono se bali atwahera wabo sa twabiri pangishao ukauka sanga no mundu muuma o average le etwa munda yakwa mitwaro 10 eberangu sama nimbi yokoredi eredi sibuli so ukokasangana AGM expense wa mabutu wako the average cost ukosangana mundu muuma etwa muspending kwa mitwaro 10 kandi omundu oyo eno sinji mutwaro mitwaro 10 twamamba tukatwara mu treasury bill kuhe mwa unit trust obuli kwezi o mitwaro 10 yangana twobera sinji ngasinga sirinji 2,000 omwanye were spendinga oko shareholder wa mutwaro eyaka sobulekero kerfu nimukola tot etu nimukolere mwerosi so ngali asabendre aba shareholders abaote sendenge mulikilangera nga tukabata bitako mwa kitongole ke mulikilangera abasende nene kundi abandu baotanga kubale obakawambo sendi abaote senene babiri atutebetako ayikasi kiri business. This is not a charity organization that we are going to incorporate everyone omushakulwa guma ukoliye bua. Let us talk business, let us think business. Ahatwa hika, we are at a critical time. Hey, Kanza, a business mind. Yes, we have the numbers. Trama betunge company, trama betunge rina. Now let us go business. Ngasaba, a resolution we are taking now about these people is that we are phasing these people out. So kutrama kera nizatrot. Abagawa ambabe shiyangoma eriko kwitano. Tubadu sayo mwajitongole. Twamakiraniza trote tukindi bihamu but legally a body ikara implement that resolution on how we are going to phase them out legally esi tutratwekera yero kenabo situtrabakola nabe so AGM ikayasa mwa masangano mwa repoti ya chairman ikasanganika bwinda abantu behesha 5 kone mtu abamezi muka mwa manel amezi muka abere labo kama yongera wanda muka asa ntulima mezi 12 sale kema matakol asa no from a resolution ikabwinda tukaya bihamu muri kilangere board ngeyama batabetako ale wani kirayero ni nyama ikoleracho omo AGM eyilabiri now abesheshe yangu mangu mabandungu mibiri bamende bakatopinga hapo bakahikeshia 5 esende situkasahamba tukashora ma treasury bond omushakolwa guma nkwali ebuwa esho ni sende etukasana makwakasa etu abasomera maoba mana nakutsebe so ngalenga nayo mukitwale in that perspective aba hano yamasakadaika 5 ingachinga
murega tuolekerero
hano sigali ngo wahe mekono inga biri lwa ingala
aba shareholders be company eno ne board iri mbere mwesinja kutsubiri mwebirishe indana ke mwabere hanulandeke amena indi bwambale Godfrey mwa railway ward ngautesha songibiri esonga okubanza munamukani ko ba shareholders aba hotel less than 4 shares mwesinja munamuhimba but ngauti ware nguma omundu ayikase munawiri ni new shareholder ama saula shishe isatu obuse mukamutebiterako ahuna hoka na hika amabinaro na uti hoperi windi ni 3 months time ngindi ongera kuna ongera ku like 7 shares oyuse mukamubenga sahayi akuse kama tabya kati echa kabere delay eyirehu omasha share increase yangana bi yirehu abwe songangu musinyese bodi ngamunasi yikwinga ngayabi ne plan oko office kwenya na formally oko office yatwabyako nabika ko mirundi in ingana musubolerako ingane sha sent ibe bwambo ambo eka kolngana ko shares share hakuhi wolende echa kabere nama office mbya ka yiria nabiro subolerako yuko mirundi kandi satu inga hika hwambo situ changirira sha sent shembyaka other than reaching ngasha dividends into shares esha dividends nganga wotayi namasundula ma shares ingane sha sent namasi subyeka oboko nekwane namabinga inanzersongera kwa shares shayi ingalunga uti shares ngisatu obuse mukanye tuta ukena bisu yasinde shek bambi njenga na uti shares seri more than 10 nanzerisa kola 20 shares akandwa ku muka discussing endeke muri kitibito ko ba shareholders ibo libone nzire lyongera
kale omwa AGM ihwere twabere barangirachu omwa implementation mtu akola bendo bebere echo kubanza ababa less than the required shares mringire sente sharp aba members abahiaka abengira eritsuka chirwechu wamaso utesheshia 5 etukane sente shawo etukawo tete company yabifamende erevya member tukasuka kwa share 5 and above so it is not true that from last AGM hanawa bandu bawulire share yangu 2 konde AGM yabari yabiritwa mtu amatsukerengerera abahiaka abakawolo ku 5 erolembere so bano abatukakana yako baba jemi abatwakana yako omwa meeting ekolera yetu that's what I wanted to clarify abawulire after the AGM sare sendisho mundu chatwakingirire less than 5 shares maybe echaribwinde mwasangana mbana sente shawo that is a management issue that we can clarify abatawite ebalete sente shawo and we move on etatu
wasinje ingeri nalia yeninje Mohindo Mugisa Enos Sakalombi ngasima a presentation ya chairperson abena nabya byana ngakaniria professionally yabagoma mwakanyitso nabyo singa yatasabe sobamu chongalewe hale mwesi ndi observations sengonze record observation iyo kubanza a moderation ya very limiting our reasoning capacity. Yes and no. Yes or no. It limits the reasoning capacity. Narutwache kwa machendero kwa emotions and egos. Erihika okosya resolutions zishatukakora. Echo ni chendro chama tusubye nyuma chama nguhyo obutu kweri bwenguhia chongalewe mehanulira yatu yamasube nyuma hatenge chindu ngeche treasury bond ngomundu yukarwewe trebwererie kasengeri wamamubulya kwa treasury bond ukabuti yukabwa ati yasalai na ruti yinji yon really anamaitegereri kandi warengere an explanation other than baguma as in the explanations sirwe one thing echinavere chirakendia inatasa correct observation sindikiriranizani njana ya mundu okubanzerera izinga chindu chiri windewe eweshe yangu makerakera ngamasalya kwa sendesi ande tunievereni omundu yamasalya kwa shandu kali aho singetasa yanda okusangu mwabiri chebwa kwa kutsebo chongalereryo twamabya itwabiri ulye nyumba yetu mwama tugabara shishama bya dividends mwama shongera okwa shasheya shatu opo mundu achena uteshe yangu so chikamanyisa yachite shasheya shatu sana muhetruka setu chouta washeye awase yangu machongalewe turangire ngokutwa mongera tukahiko okwesho sitano esyebebuga echo chamahwa chiti areta sayendo kwa chende nainande mutibito kwa butuku nga appreciate ngomubiri wa mukakora chongi njenga utobulengekania abuntu tolekererana banetu ngweto obulengekania abuntu ende tunasi ngokumunasi kandi abandu abanabu bwenesi e business yikawura ichina sadasadaye yamabirikwe nesha bilioni musanjwese emasefueru nesha yengome iyekwiramu chongali wabaganu lingo kuba nalyebuga eribuli hano abantu muti tuhure yekwinzia ye ibusibe byesi ni nyumu byesi nabandi abo narutanga nabi itu watukalenderera tutukende kore chendu chetu kandi chendu chetu echo kandi chikayekwe ayuanga twerisha bilioni musanju ene bisanga satwana na milioni bikome bebere so nerukamirwa rwenyu iyelwe na chendu nyoa imuto butrochi imwe studying chendu mama Lucy ngokona lyebuga imwe lebya ayatukaruranga nahaye narutwarangira tutaye na moto keta sende yoro echendu chetu chikindikare chinakolireki tusengo twachiulia awe ngoma nayo angayende wewe ini anautre ngoma kokera aricha kwa chakwa potopo so on a final note ngadivaizinga abandu aba muri abandu besomire bye mukabugibi hangana byesinde formal communication or gatherings, led debates and talks. Chairman in our directors and our businessmen, business managers, business scholars, never so Quavan advocated a yikara multi-purpose. It wakano chendro cherebe, it will leave a chendro chatunga chikende chitich. Abandu baba hukwamezi walk bold. Awamutinda basosorera nebi natunetra wobamu itwalangira chindu chetu chende mwende mbere then area tukalenderera sha ano general meetings nyisa mutasa toberekera omwasi ndogananga ndayeka tukende baho kwa maize mwesinja kutseba
kale wasinja ngalengeka na moderation yai na sobiria mutamba abo mukazanga kwa rend because amabwate moderation yai sitrendandeke kanyangarangara it is a fair one gani mweri obole mundu ya chas na bandu eri itwiramu yenanda ke kamal kale ngala ngana ya obutuku obole mundu mwa meeting eri ngai nishanga kali that is one two tuchinaora bende bindu bya rekola obutuku bwabere byabuke nereka ngana mbasubuliria inyeri itwiramu I don't think in this ahadramata hika ngamata bakakachindu chirebe so nama sinata abandu bechas it is not me better haba butruku na namba yetu obule muri shanga kolate shanga bu echo muhanulia onde chamabua cheche esha shares esha shangom anga matabera company secretary I think it is only one AGM eto mata abandu mesha sende esilabiro mutwalo ananga bya mu manangu mibiri if I can recall esende tukakole esha dividends yabenga kaka kanane rukumi ngumi biri nerisha beshanga kole share so echo mwana ali yabwakanza risaitinga abantu ati mtu kana convertinga esha shares omwa report ya chama ni omasomo kwa page yakabere akabwindi esha dividends yatwa convertinga eshiyangu wamaiga na hamba siri njingu mibiri chinane na 30 so omundu weshe yanguma mwatungire mitwa ngumi ibiri chinane na 30 so owesa na uta mtu arumuuma ngumi ibiri chinane na 30 which is not equivalent to a share kundi a share yangu man siringi singahe siringi mutwaro omundu weshe yanguma tukamwanza kwa mitwaro mengahe mitwaro win so namuchina mtu kana convertinga esha dividends ishe nyumba sisi lulusa yomundu yomwachuna echere tunga sheyanguma eritunga singa eritunga 5 lere ryo esha ngumi 2 runane na 30 anganongerako mitwaro 3 kasanju beberna neranga kolfenga ishe singahe esha 3 otherwise this thing it is in good faith kana erlanga ndi company yatwa ko light yika kula
Yes, company secretary. Company ya treni ya rwirahale kande bambi tubusi abashaholders abano akashia kauma akanza chindu chikodere chiti chendi ya molero so ngabwe ndabe shareholder abashanguma bambe muleke kwabuba tukesukuma chindu chikendi ende mbere mutusikire ko tunakolere tote tunaho injenga somira amasanyarezi tunaho abana ne bananyesi munarambura abantu banene since 2011 up to 2017 ngano makiail kana bya somane business nainga nasiyo omwami akayeyo bolarieno tunahayimu so hania kando akanyo makiail akangaza tukumbule munabwira ba shareholders kusi aba directors abakasuba kwa board after the 10 year tata erkan anganafisi atakaminya tata ngasaba mwana nyiterera tukanza mbana bedu tata muwanye burako batata ngalonga abashaholders abanga basaba musambe de kangu manyisa ulenga bwa kandu wako engineer KIL yimanire okwa finance okwa siasende siombolosi yetu n'abakasi controllinga sibaba accountant betu aba accountant bamabiri yakasente ketu bakama betu aboko na ntukendi chinga esha sente makaka kako sikabolera hai echina bita notisinga nginje I'm not an auditor abashaholders sasa n'abaransi baba sibahikire nangu mibiri better transport refund kutesa reports esibanga hurucha bamabe bali truha a transport last year mtatunge mtu libiribiri tunahayimu sekaya ndo mabyara bya accountants iba generating a different names which we don't have in the shareholding list ngade mumbere wizile omnanye kwa ramu mumbere wiziboni ini huruche mitwa libiri kundi abere ko list eya ba shareholders yabo emirimu tunayim isibatasa nabarisha ejem abiri nini erika munabwiri injo mwachibaro chetu antwamalizungisha milioni kuse bilioni renga ngum amabendu ya masata ebyo so chenunga chibo mwa rusungu my fellow auditors kundi batana ngana baraye abona ngala auditor so I'm giving a recommendation to the auditors that whenever you are coming to present your audited statements to us, we are seeing what next. So kindly task the management of finance through the board to always give you a written report or a statement of shareholders' attendance so that you also monitor the expenses of this AGM. Kaisinga zileso mkana nga AGM eno mutimeka spending a million nebeko mebebere. Emokema matuli ya morukwe. Let us do something that is for generations. Nabetse kulubetu nabasatu keleba nera hechareria. Mwasinja kutsibu. Namasiara eni mombere wizile.
Kale wasinja kosane ya wizile, it is very simple. Hanuka sale omureta ihandika hali. Travel providing a vitabu omuraka ihandika omauna shera handika omaso shera handika bakakwa handika. Abutabo aisha obule AGM shosi esharuka tunga tunenasho. Wamanze AGM ihwere is just matter of getting a book. Ekitabu chechi abatendinga baba na mikono yabu yai. This is something simple. Only that what maybe was lacking in the report of the chairman was to say AGM ihwere mutu tunga attendance abandu banga, which is a good observation. And going forward, I think the new chairman will be reporting on the attendance AGM. Now, when it comes to the expense AGM, I say on my director's report, kabia on my report, about auditors, because among the other expenses, eshaba ko auditinga, eba ko auditinga, expenses, eshato ko lesiri or momwak. Because the moment we spending on so many things, it is not only the AGM. I think also the auditors have taken note in the audit, they have a key on the AGM expenses. That one we have taken it in good faith. Moving a report into adopting a report to the chairperson with the amendments, observations, and resolutions. Found ascending from the quality report. Eika moving a motion here, adopting a report. Eika moving a motion, adopting a report.
My name is Ninja Mohendro Henry. Namakiri in the question machine or Jonama adopting a report.
Singa walwai.
Ngari Kisinga.
Kisinga sub county.
Kisinga town council. Kagando.
Njengaro sub county kamo. Kamsa kendinga. Baba alia. Pamara. Mama nwend. Vandu babere for record purpose.
Ninja bas katedi sanza. Na inga seconding that with amendments.
Ugalwa imam.
Galwe kama iba habitant. Kasese municipality.
Microphone ya kamarana ya buwe omulenge bowo kwa YouTube bali kwa mbele nama mubuire.
Kale Kamara Johnson Kaliasa ngarwe road berry Bulembia division na inama sekendinga report ya chairman na si amendments si atwabere kora SRM wasinji
kale mwasinja. Next on the agenda item tukatunga audit report. So we are going to handle our agenda item number 6, which is receipt and consideration of the external auditor's report for the financial year 2024-2025 and the matters arising. Now, Hanaho Shafairu Estamwe shall report will. Hanaho Shafairu out the auditor's report. Mubaga kwa mistake baka pata kwa Shafairu Mubaka simisinga. So either with a copy we can provide one. Better than the normal Shafairu. You can move on.
Thank you, Council, for giving me this opportunity to present our audit report. I take this opportunity to recognize the Board of Directors, the shareholders present. Good afternoon, members. My name is Hilary Sembo, the team leader from Unihill Associates Certified Public Accountants, Uganda. I like speaking Rukonjo, but I sometimes I fail. So I know Rutoro, but my colleague is well versed with Rukonjo. He will be in position to interpret some of the things to me so that I can be in position to answer them. We were appointed by the company to audit the financial statements for Kilembe Investments Limited for the year ended 30th June 2025. And here is the report which I'm going to present that was presented also to the Board of Directors and discussed, and some of the issues that have we had raised have already been discussed through his report, and even we are very happy that you were participating very well and concerned with his report. So kindly move to the independent auditor's report. It has no pages, but it's headed, it's on the headed paper of Unihill Associates Certified Public Accountants, and the report is reading as follows. Independent auditor's report written to the shareholders of Kilembe Investment Limited, PO Box 341 Kasese, through the chairperson board, Kilembe Investments Limited. And the report is on the audit of financial statements of Kilembe Investment Limited for the year ended 30th June 2025. Opinion. The main purpose why you gave us this role was to give assurance to the financial statements that were prepared by management of Kilembe Investment Limited. Now, our opinion is to see whether those financial statements give a true and fair view, and they can be relied on in your decisions, the decisions that you are taking. Like the decisions you are taking today, they can be based on those financial statements. So I read the opinion halfway, then I will connect. We have audited the financial statements of Kilembe Investments Limited, which comprise of the statement of financial position as at 30th June 2025, and the statement of comprehensive income, statement of changes in equity, statement of cash flows for the year then ended, and the notes to the financial statements, including a summary of significant accounting policies. Before I read the opinion, I have first to explain what we reviewed and how we came up with our opinion. I go to the basis of opinion. The basis for opinion. I will summarize the basis in that we conducted our audit in accordance with the international standards on auditing and guidelines issued by the Institute of Certified Public Accountants, Uganda, and our responsibilities are well under those standards. Under those standards are further described in the auditor's responsibilities for the financial statement section of our report. So we are guided, we have a principal, we have a regulator who has given us the principles that we are supposed to follow in auditing such type of financial statements. The second state heading is key audit matters. That one is a statement which is giving attention to you as shareholders that you should concentrate on that matter. And I'm going to read it as follows. We found out that there is a decline in income source. After the expiry of the mine income stream license from Electricity Regulatory Authority for distributing electricity on 30th September 2024, the company is struggling with no major business to generate cash flows that would maintain the operations of the business. And the company is likely to experience going concern challenges if new business activities are not decided by the board and its shareholders. I'm happy that you have already discussed this matter, and it's important to put in your mind that priority must be given to the major business that you're going to be generating. However much you have several sources, but the main business must be decided for you to be identified and to continue as a going concern. Putting that one aside, I will continue to the responsibilities of management and those charged with governance on financial statements. Management was responsible in preparing these financial statements to ensure that they are in accordance with the international financial reporting standards and to ensure that internal controls are in place and can be in position to detect fraud or errors. So that was the responsibility of management. And let's go to the auditor's responsibilities. As auditors, our main objective were to obtain reasonable assurance about whether the financial statements as a whole are free from material misstatement, whether they're due to fraud or error, and to issue an audit opinion that includes our opinion. An audit report that includes our opinion. Reasonable assurance is a high level of assurance, but is not a guarantee that an audit conducted in accordance with the international audit standards of auditing will always detect material misstatement when it exists. This is a statement which we are supposed always to give. These are the roles that we are given by our regulator in conducting our responsibilities. The rest you can read through, those who can. I move to other information. In this report, you'll find that you had already information from the directors, like the director's report. So in that, it is, we are saying that other information comprise of other information included in the audit report, but does not include the financial statement and our opinion and our audit report therein. In other words, we do not give an opinion on the information that the director has provided. We also confirm, according to the Companies Act Cap 110, that we report that we obtained all the information and explanations to which to the best of our knowledge and belief were necessary for the purpose of our audit. In our opinion, proper books of accounts have been kept by the organization so far as appears from our examination of those books, and the company's statement of financial position and comprehensive income are in agreement with the books. This report, the engagement team leader is Hilary Kisembo, but I'm going first to explain before I give my opinion. Let's go to page 12. There's page 12, you are seeing we have the statement of financial position. But there's no way I can explain it here and you understand it. I will take you. It's the same applies to page 13. We move to page 14. I'm page 15, page 16. Now, page 16 is the one which describes certain policies that we have considered. In this, we have considered the Companies Act. We have also wanted to affirm that the major regulator of this company or business activity for this company was ERA, which operated in this financial year for only 3 months. And that is from July to September when it concluded, and the rest of the months there was no regulator, major regulator, meaning that we are just there with the other sources of revenue, where majorly we shall discover that they are higher of your assets. Then the basis of preparation of these financial statements was based on international financial reporting standards. Then the measurement of these financial statements was based on historical cost basis and fair value basis of accounting, because some of the assets you would find that indeed they may not meet the criteria for the amount that is supposed to be there. You end up applying the fair value. So we advised management to apply certain valuation procedures to ensure that the financial statements try to show a true and fair view of what is actually happening in the company. The accounting period that we covered was from 1st July 2024 to 30th June 2025. Inventory, the inventory which we are talking about, which is stock, it was recognized at cost and net realizable value. And because it included meters, single phase split with accessories and poles. We discovered the stock count that was taken on at the handover, during the handover on 30th September 2024, they had counted the stock. So that stock, including that stock, there was some stationery which you cannot sell. Well, it had value, so we cannot report it because you cannot convert it into cash immediately because it was just for record keeping. Then the currency that we reported, these reports are in, is Uganda shillings. Then the income and expenditure, income is recognized. We apply accrual concept, and where we say income is recognized when it is earned and expenses are recognized when they were incurred. In other words, you'll find things of being demanded and you demanding money. Then receivables, that's what I'm explaining, that trade receivables are amounts due from customers for power that was consumed, and the amounts demanded from other parties, like the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, where you're demanding money. Cash and cash equivalent, we are looking at cash at bank, and there majorly we wrote to the banks and they directly responded to us, giving us the information. The account balances as at 30th June 2025, and the bank accounts that were closed were all disclosed to us, so that we know how much did you have in liquid in all the bank accounts that you are operating. Then in terms to the property and equipment, today I know most of your debate was major on assets. That is what we are meaning when we say property and on page 17, or property and equipment. Land was depreciated at 0%. That was your accounting policy from the previous years, that the land does not depreciate. Building, which you just procured in that financial year, was taken at 50 years useful life, which is 2%. Computer and software, 16. Motor vehicle was always being depreciated at 20, which is equivalent to 5 years. Then tools and equipment at 5%. Then furniture and fittings at 12.5%. Important to note is the land which was disclosed to us, which we also recognized, which they had already, that one I can take. There are 4 pieces, three pieces which we have described there. There is also leased land from NFA. Then you also have some MOU with Kasese District Local Government on 50 hectares. It is important to note that some assets were transferred to UETCL after the closure of the major business line. So some of them I'm going to explain, but they include power line, motor vehicles, and energy meters and some tools. Then accounting estimates, you will find that we applied some accounting estimates there. They were applied and we verified them. That is depreciation and some valuation. Taxation. Tax is an important matter to note these days for every company to succeed or to continue flowing well without being interfered by penalties from government. Yeah, so of course, tax is being depreciated is always charged at 30%, and there is also some deferred tax which was recognized. You will see it in the financials. I will explain. Then the claim for energy loss, for energy evacuation loss from UETCL, we looked at it. We looked at the reconciliation and the communications that were conducted between the Kilembe Investment Limited Management as well as the UETCL, and discovered that this amount is due for us. It's a receivable which can be now Page 18, where I had already explained about the energy evacuation loss. Then we can also continue to the contingent liabilities. Here, this one describes the legal actions that are there, that the company is in, and the VAT assessment appeals that it might be in, which might lead to a significant, which might not lead to a significant loss, and they need to be disclosed. At that time, we are uncertain, but if the certainty comes, it can be disclosed. Then going concern, we have already discussed about it. It is all about knowing whether the business will continue in the foreseen future, especially 12 months ahead, which already you are looking at possible remedies towards the coming up with new business ideas. When it comes to share capital, we also looked at it in this way. It describes the ordinary share capital. Ordinary shares are classified as share capital in the equity. Incremental shares are also shown as issued shares, and the company policy is to sometimes convert share dividends into shares. The share price of one share is 10,000. And here the advantage is that you have also digested a lot on it, and I will also be adding some information there. Retained earnings, it's a company's policy to share profits at a ratio of 70 to 30%, where 30% remains in the company as retained earnings, and 70% is declared as dividends to the shareholders. Retained earnings were affected by the value of the assets that were transferred to the UETCL, were transferred to UTCL. Those assets which you had, some assets that were transferred, they could not be, the only double entry would be to affect the retained earnings of the company. Income tax, we had already talked about it, I think. Then grants, you had two grants. That is the grant from US side, and another one from, yes, we had Chemilk and the Oxogrid from UK. Both of them, they operated in that period, and one of them was affected when Trump brought in his sanctions, and that money was transferred. We confirmed that the grant was transferred to UETCL. Now, colleagues, let me explain to you on page 20. Now, that's what, having given you that information, it will explain to you how we come up to confirm that this value is reasonable enough for one to decide, or it is accurate for the members to make decisions on. Share sales. On sales, you made the total sales within those 3 months. Total sales from power were 1.5 billion for that financial year. Concentrate on the highlighted color, on the highlighted column, which is financial year 2024-2025. Then cost of sales for the power purchase was 752.9 million. Then other incomes, you hired assets and you got 49 million, whereas you also adding their other incomes, you come to 452 million. You go to the next page, page 21, administrative costs or administrative expenses. We confirm that major administrative expenses were also incurred in the period in the first 3 months of the year. And this one came to 307 million. And inclusive of that is a gentleman who raised the question on AGM. We tried to verify the list. But of course, it is very difficult to, at the moment, unless we shall advise more strategies to verify it. But when it comes to signatures, the moment we find it is signed, for us to go with that. However, we shall maybe look at a strategy whereby that figure can be, we can verify that it is the owner who really who took it. We shall come up with that strategy in the coming audits if we are to continue with you. Then the selling and distribution expenses, these ones came to 684.6 million. Professional fees were 58.9 million. Staff expenses were 431.9 million, but this one included a major expenditure which was staff gratuity for the staff whose contracts were terminated. Then board of directors expense were 74. Then when we go to the asset schedule, which is on page 23, we are going to move together. You will see that we have land concentrated on the first row where we are talking about, which is the one which is highlighted, Samkakala. It is having land, we are having building. That is the cost that was put on the building, 499. Then when you look at furniture, we had, the cost was at 669. Then we had computers at the cost at 246 million. Then when power line was taken, billing software was also written off. Then energy meters were taken. So the company remained with land, building, furniture, computer accessories, motor vehicle, tools and equipment. However, these assets are depreciated by the rates which I had already explained the other side. When they depreciate, of course, it enters the company's what? Resources. So because of the being used. So we confirm that the figure of land, because it is not being depreciated, you can look at the net book value as at 30th June 2025. The land was 274.5 million, while building was only depreciated in the first year and it came to 489.3 million. Furniture had already been depreciated up to 1.5 million, and this furniture, when you look at it, it is existing, but the figure you can imagine we have 100 and what? 1.5. That's why you had an issue of being revalued. So that it can portray a true and fair view. Then the computers, they are now at 20 million. Of course, it includes the other software which they talked about. Then power line 0 because it was taken. Billing software 0. Meter energy 0. Then we remained with motor vehicle. Motor vehicle alone had already been depreciated up to 4.9. But the value is high because those 3 vehicles are existing. They are all well packed there. So if you dispose them, you are likely to get a profit, a gain out of that. And so meaning that it is also not being represented fairly here. And the condition is that you cannot reinstate it to its current value at that time until when the resolution is made to revalue it. So as auditors, we cannot tell the management to go ahead and fix a figure which is not coming in the right procedure. Then tools and equipment, we have 302. All of that schedule has been guided by the standard called IS-16, which talks about how you can manage assets and how you can see how they are flowing. However, these assets are supposed to be supported by the list which the chairperson was giving you. It is picking it from the asset register. The asset register is the one which goes ahead and describes how many pieces of land, building, where it is, but this one is a summary of all those. Allow me go to the next page, which is page 24. Page 24 describes note 10 is looking at the investments that you are having. You had tree plant project which was valued at 66. It was accruing from behind. You had a solar generation plant project at 35.3, which was a million, which was that money was put in that financial year. Deferred tax, this is money that was found on your ledger, on your income tax ledger, paid in advance. It has been accruing all along because of this provisional tax that you keep on paying. It came to 272.3. You have inventory which was at 255.2 million. Receivables, those are the monies you are demanding from the people, those ones who had power, whom you had offered power or your service. You had the recurrent debtors and postpaid customers, they had 72 million, so a strategy must be put in place to recover that money. Then you have had other receivables. Other receivables you had from the Ministry of Energy and the Mineral Development. You had connection fees which you are demanding 87 million. We saw all the documentation. Ministry of Energy, again, you are demanding them 3.6. It is as a result of the energy evacuation loss which was reconciled and confirmed. Then you have, at that time, that money was still there, the one of the grant, the 35 million, but now it's not there. We confirm that it was transferred to the other side. Then prepaid, we had 0. Then cash and cash equivalent, as I told you, we had Stanbic, we wrote to Stanbic, we wrote to Centenary Bank and others, they confirmed the balances. And those are the balances that were confirmed existing at the end of 30th June 2020, 5 as 13.6 million. The payables, that's the money they are demanding the company, as well as you are demanding the other side evacuation loss. UTCL is also demanding you 2.4 billion for the energy or the power that had supplied you. So that is the status. Then the Minister of Energy, there is also a lease fees for 160, which you are supposed to pay. Then dividends, there are some people who had not been given their money, all their money on dividends, and this there is a major shareholder who is demanding. Not everyone is demanding here, very few. So there is also typical plan solution with a consultancy firm which is demanding 29, making it 114.1 million. So that is the status of the balance sheet. And now when you come to the tax, on the tax component, these ones are, we can go to the last page where we talked about the tax computation. You made a loss, of course, but based on tax, there's no need of paying a tax when you are in loss. So let me go back to page. We go back to page. Take me to page 13. Page 13, when you look at the summary of all those, the income versus expenses, you made a loss of 510 million. And as I told you, that one could not be taxed. When you come to page 12, I had already told you the other side described the net property, net assets, fixed assets. You have 1.09 billion. Your investments, which I talked about, tree plantation and solar, it comes to 1.102 million. Deferred tax is also coming here as 273 million. Inventories are also coming. You can see the note. You can go back and confirm if you want to confirm the note. On inventories, 255. That's what we described the other side. Receivables, 3.2 billion. Cash and cash equivalent, which is money in the bank, 13.6 million. When you come to equity, let me first skip equity. I go to payables. Payable on note 15, there is 2.68 billion. Now, when you come to the share capital, you have 1.6 billion. Then retained earnings, you have 625 million. I will explain also that one how it comes about. Now, this one, you go to page 14. Page 14, if you look well on the floor of the share capital, you'll find that the only people who, the money which was raised in share capital was 1.5 million. 1.5 million, and again there is also dividends which were converted into shares of 366.9 million. Now those dividends, when you look at the number of shareholders that were eligible to get the share, everyone was eligible. And since everyone was eligible, the calculation came up with around 2,830. That was the calculation. Now, when we calculated, we summarized and we wanted to bring out the issue of who are those shareholders that are a liability to the company. We discovered they have already reported to you that those ones of one share, and those ones of who are less than 5 are based on the resolution that you passed some years. Now, all those benefited from that money. And of course, you apply a pro rata, everything balances on its own. So the same figure which you are seeing, you'll find that if you divided, you'll find that someone has maybe, even if they gave him 200, and you'll be having 12,830. So that one does not also make him get 2 shares unless he tops up. So members, we go to retained earnings. Retained earnings, these ones were accruing from behind. Of course, it is an opening balance 1.9. We had a valuation loss which was now confirmed. We had the net assets transferred to government at 3.5. We had the dividends which were removed to go to the shares. Of course, that is a 30% of the previous, rather 70% of the previous profits that were made. Then finally, the profit of that, the loss for that year, you made 510. Now, when you look at it, you net all of those, you arrive at 625. Already, if you are at 625, if you don't make decisions faster in 2 years or 1, to ensure that you put in place an income generating activity to give you more funds, in the next 2 years, you'll be entering into your share capital. That is an indicator, because it is being eaten up by the loss. The more time you spend, the more time you'll be giving the loss to penetrate your share capital. So that one I wanted to emphasize it such that as you are making those decisions, you factor in the time and how faster you are in making the right decisions. Members, there's another statement which is the statement of cash flows. That one was balancing the movement of cash and eventually to come up with a cash on page 15 that was in the bank and it was at 13.6 million. Having described those accounts, I wanted to explain to them fully in that way because I had Madam Jane is hospitalized, but that is her duty. She would have explained this one. So my role was to give an opinion and affirm. But that's why I went into details. Now, when you come to the page, my first page of the report, I can firmly say that in our opinion as UNIL Associates Certified Public Accountants, the financial statements give a true and fair view of the financial position of Kilembe Investment Limited as at 30th June 2025 and its financial performance and the cash flows for the year period ended in accordance with the International Financial Reporting Standards, which was the framework that you are using to prepare the financials, and as well as the Companies Act. So thank you very much for listening to me.
Kale wasinja balere biara bisobero marukoza lero na ikabekendem muzerta gwa ticha utusema na izingira mabimye bebere ebyo mabuhanga bikamanyisa yaje mana soma berayero ombo muko yagaika just a summary report from a layman perspective.
Mwasinja kuthevu nyobo sherihika ngoko munasi tutinda bana balero lukonzo tulwasindeke kuthevu betu ngindikanya okwa bendo beke ngoko nama vikani ati bitabo beno abakabe takaniza ye ni management. So itwenga ba auditors tukasa erisha verifyinga esha figures shabu eshabali atuha ngane nabya kwa nene omwa shadow documents shaba weti nero mutukana tuka libya bitabu ebyo nganza tuenda kwa share statements yesi luva ngabwa omwa summary tuenda kwa page 12 kakangana ye okwa financial position tuwetu te engerimu imanire omwa mikolere yenyu. So a statement of financial position ema tukanganya yeti esha asset shenyu esine nene shamabya non-current assets shamabya sute 1.4 billion imwa mule property, plant and equipment ukaenda kwa noti namba mwenda iko kangana efiga nga kuyamasa tukanganisha investment eshamwakola omwa mwakoyo iwenda kwa note 10 iyo kunganya no musolo iwenda kwa note 11.
Ngale Reverend Ezra Yongeza Mkonzo wahemba company secretary wetu ebyatwa masamarera chekabye yuka tusomeranga share soma Lukonzo ali akako michabwa olujungulo mwa Lukonzo neryo kwa biri tukanga tukachilitsa ndeyo ko butuku twabya tukechereka tuleto chereke wahemba benenga ko tunali ngokwa binelu omurenge wali mwa Lukonzo chunge binywa nibyo olujungu neresibiri chabikawatikaye
Trauma kira trauma ligaliana tutranule kwa report ngokubali present ngai a translation flake. Okay, that we leave with the translation. Translating a report eringa mwarukonzo likali rera na emunga anai kale twende tutunge mundu muuma kamuvinga emotion and to adopting this report for discussion. No only as a gendinga ifangendo kwa reactions. Kamuvinga Wizile.
Who is moving?
Wahemba Mwasinja Kutsibu Ninje Ana Muhindo a financial report twabiriwayo neryo tunawite na records zisyayo ngasa abantu tu adaptingeyo twangana discussingayo.
Again, we go to another thing. You second.
Tayebwa Smith from Bushenyi seconded.
Kale tunga bakari yakitinga koyu. You react, then the auditor will respond. Abakari yakitinga kwa audit report. Emekon. Abakari yakitinga kwa report eyaba matu somera. Omukono olieria. Then from there ukindikere Mr. Kilembe. From Mr. Kilembe wende Reverend Mukonzo.
Okay, amananga likule Henry Muhotro. Omwebikui. Tukasima auditor present ga report yenu. Neryo abandu aba. Some of us are not, most of them are not professionals.
Uli alwa hai tukari kodinga, uli alwa hai.
Kale kule Henry Muhotro.
Au kalwa.
Shareholder from Chondo sub-county.
Okay.
Neryo abandu abachabanzira interested afranawo bire kuseye. It is page 13. Wamendo no page 13. Omaka wa hwere au ndolia 2023-24 akamba na oba milioni bikome beni ngani. Neryo omaka ono 2024-25 akamba na yawire milioni bikome 5 nerikumi. Ajuchache cha kaza kimamenya as a layman. The rest will technical. Wamabenda wa details ebikitwa robutu kubunga nabe masinda kutsibu.
Kale wasinja erutu sobarera Mr. Kilembe Moses.
Aka eneka ke edinali ninja Kilembe Moses. Njenga lwecha lumba magombora. Oma memo hotoma bigwa kwa kawo mananga bwa kakabere. Muka hika audited accounts. Nari muka samalera nanga musosire moto. Wama samalera yatata alanga baba et. Ya wanragerwe aha hanelwe balambai na ngana hanu sitwanga kenga these accounts. These are terrible documents. Moto wasinje ritu watichia eritu wera utitwa wire. Naribwa njeje kala kenanga. Vojo twama bitwa wire milioni 5 arlo. Kande hali hanelwichi. Akamba netule ye kutitusiala nayo. Iuka siala na kamba ni ye wire habwech kanda hanyo kanzare ko bilioni musanju. Kande bilioni musanju ishenga netu ya santa sha na hiramu. Ishenga netu hanesho inesho. Oyo wabela ngarama mawoba ekikala ke utala kakatwa la company yeyo akasiala ka woba moyo eyo cha ushabire subeka ni cha. Ngechu ni kibuli cha. Na bibu wecho bend. Naribu balu banu musomebi these are audited accounts. Banu mo besoma injengero ndamwe milioni eshebiba singa to wa auditor kabikani yako. Was it too small a figure to be captured by the auditors? Kuna ngale kanda sentence yetu. Akeri unzerera the technical person owe kambane echiru cha AGM aberelwal siatras, and this AGM was postponed from some date back, you remember? na munabwire salanga shout assistant na sali yanga tusobola technically these auditors and they are going away mwitwe muti tukasi ala nachi echi kali kitu zowuli chindu ichi mukambe sente syake nondo mukamwesi we niji boji tukaiboherera ukuchi. That is my question. Eri unzerera mwesinjerias nenyobodi mwesinjera tuha these reports betu ngali abasabe ndi abandu aba situsomire ebindu binene situlekenge byusibi betu abandu abatwa mabaisha sente syabo tuli abano yukawula abandu abibasigale banatusikiri mwesinja kuseba
kale a quick response okwache ulia bwa eche mobile money a report eyi ne report eyo mwaka wahwa 2013 okwo muka 2025 ebya banika kibanza okwo musanju erigese heno sibangabite ko mu report eyi kundi report eyi niyo mwaka wa twachinga 2013 okwo muka. So there is no way they can report an incident on my current year. Early next year, more a report of what you're looking for. Mr. Oh, a microphone. Oh, a microphone. Wile. Yeah, Reverend Mukoza Nabisumbakubo, then you will come to Tarolia. Then Jenny, as Reverend comes in, yeah, Jenny, abale kwa online, Jenny is attending online in Anokwanjeng, so he's not absent, he's with us, and I'm following her on the online. Abasha koro menaba, but I'm broadcasting about Wakanaya, she's attending. Kanaya Reverend.
Wasinja wahemba na malangara kwesitolia echauli ala tacho kubanza ngokunu warenjingire agenda yetu kwisikutwanga endire nayo konda hatia kutotsukabe bitukabeminya abu ndibi nyuma beria twaberesangwa twabekenga ulu abrebe tondanda ke wahem nido twairire mwebwe arabe henrul niwo ulu abre langira hali totangere menyara rabe no botonya na senator yato masanwe konda tulibekenga bakasube nyuma okobitu twabirile byam tole mwasabekenga bikashe tuniga bandu bali mga bakashe twitabu obokale mbali mubati eshe bilioni musanju twamabe twite bilioni 2 obwecha kawati narutwa masega abana obole mundu nyakende tunga dabo wakasenda kabule mundu kakenda kana kwa mawobo obo byakale mbaka sendere teberengebi kuri twabe tukindulia bilioni musanju kene twaba twite shashe bilioni ngibiri ngokubali abuga obo twamagabana omundu nyakitunga obo ibona bazya mu bulebe sali ukende yandrati chungibwa tule twabiri kilabyaho
chabarehwa
Toto mecha endra nacho.
We already decided.
Ara hanula wa hebe chindebu ninga bolia machitabula. Ngalo ngano chindebu ninga hanula kala emba mache tabur. Reka tukwa mecha lorembere chamanda.
Kala emba ikalais.
Wasinja tata erinyirihira ninje ana muhindo. Yes. Twabirira byaho ekitwabirira byaho so twangasube nyuma beitu munyuhurikirire
tusikanga naye this is a meeting
beitu
let us respect people's opinions
beitu ngokutulwe twabiribuwa sahari eyindi investment eitwangateka mwesyo sente ahari abakori kada ahari dangerous esente setu sikakoraki sikabura cheche kade katuti akasente kosa kutuwite tukateka mu treasury bill esyo sente setu syangabya safe abakabosera ngokuna umunga sukazukana neri babwira any other investment kamanyisa yangu tukarondachi abakoli kandi abakoli babo bakatuyamo rukwe so akasente kosa kutuwite tusuke kirya erisibika ahisikatubutirachi esindi sente kandi ziri safe so hadi okutwangazo unanka okutwanza ususa
kale auditor aliabererwa mareka tsuka responding okwacha losi nuka clarifying.
Okay, thank you. I got, where did the loss come from? Of course the loss comes from the fact that expenses are higher than income. And one of the factors that led to that is the assets which are depreciating. We had 150, if you look at it very well. Then in addition to that, what you earned, the operating costs were higher than what you earned in that period. Meaning that even you are helped by the money which was coming from the previous year. If you go very well, on the last page of page 15, you'll find that you had money around 273. It's the one which also helped you to do what? To recover, not to get a greater what? Loss. So members, even when the assets are being, it would even have been more, because the assets, when the assets were transferred also, they had a change in your equity. So really that is a true amount. The only thing is, now previous year you had made a profit, now you are making a loss. Now it scares you. But when you look at it in this financial, maybe to add advice, is that in this financial year, the money you are demanding, by the way, is a lot from those people. If you net off what you are demanding from Ministry of Energy with what they are demanding you, will get around 700 something million. So that money, if it came in, it would save you. But we were giving you an alert that please, even if you have made this loss, secure that you don't make a greater what? Loss. Make sure your strategies are leading to improvement. A case in point, you have had Mukade saying, talking about treasury bills. For us, we are just saying, okay, please confirm those things as soon as possible. As the years are going, the depreciation will start eating your what? Your money. Even the costs which you have spent today you have spent the money. What did you earn in this year? Very good. So all those, it doesn't make you scared. You still have your capital. You still have, but it makes you make the right decisions within the shortest what? Within the time that is appropriate. Thank you.
Auditor Mabuatre, echama laketwa tunga eloshe yi, evendo vyatu witre, wekenda vika losing a value. Omamba rere ya vitabu, wamamu ule meze ya mitu rukumi, munavire wanganabu ambu ya mabia zero. Betu kaya unawitre yu. Esha muto wakashatu witre, ahatrase ulera, sekenda sika losing a value, na wakaba kabara vendo vyatu witre. Ebi enda vika losing a value, na wasanga nibaka lebya, eshisende siya tukakolesa ya, na vendo vyatu witre, ebaka bihaku. Eba sanga na eshasende isini mwenda sika kolasitri isini mwenda sika huao betu na mchina mbwebyo vekabya biri omwa audit report ama hawatu tungira nema habere tunawitresha assets ebunga babaribe betawa bakabambusha ma depreciating betu amatore mwakatali kwa uliayu bakabanga nako hakasende nerbu bana mwabaru yo ebi accounts bakabamba meze yamabya zero kundi yamabirunzo butukubaye kabambo obutukubaye wambo ikende byaho wamabere lab betike meze uliya ulayayo ibangana ko hachi akasende hatenge shamuto akashetu aba kabarambusha be kola sitri shabi depreciating shabere kwao kutoma bisukolesha butukubu nene beto masfraro makatara ukasiulia sigashangana kola sitri ishangana wol echakabere chamasoborera wa madeni watu kabanze government government atomatu hiayo yakatwa akasende gato katu kabanza etukisangana etunauta kasende okwa kaunti yetu egamande matu esende shosi eshatu kabanza alema watu ekyali achikora elangerende tuihire mwishanga kamulu tuyehanga biseso turonda ye activity eye company yanga kora nukwe mwaka emyaka ikayesembere itu atu nawite echindu echikingirira ye company but as of now situte project eyatukawati tukarela ingako eikikingirisha send. But the good thing mwabiri guiding a board on what should be done esha project isamukaranga nabenda basamareko maybe next financial year wakisabere report iba bamba bya mahanula twabiri twayinga erekode kine kandi vika performing abetya kwehi bya matwingirira abetya ali hano mukono omusha kuloyu nolya.
Amena ye ninje muongo tofwa ngalo ikajwenge nyabarango parisi akisinga sub county nganze lisime chitongole chino usanene bibiri tatatu ya mabere call Kilembe investment na natsuka nayo kake hanyuma na mnabirengana nayo ngana otrame abu ya emeke ngi community luli hambere nilibanga basima usana necho kandi ne nyunga ba umaya ende muhumulekane sale mundu wosi ekende mu business akalengekenie losi akalengekenie amawoba nilibitu twasubire butukubulene tukaenda machindu tunachesi ende ukalengekenie amawoba kandi walengekania ne losi nilibwa butukubunene twabera tukaenda kwa amawoba masamasitwe si elosi elosi kabandika mu business eya one mukola kandi na mawoba kabandika mu business eya one mukola sikubina beti nelibangalengekana echitongole chino chena suko kwa zero ayalabo mwinyo mama chembembeti haukora mbutu na utisha poroti haukora mbutu na utisha motoka haukora mbutu na utisha chirebe ebisi mwabira bemenyi bama mama nikelosi kandi tukalirikana muikire mukalirikana ala mubutu kuwa mawoba kandi mukaisangura abindu bisebera bekabaneka omachisubure njamungatasome sukuru alwangali musuburi so yosinga nabe wetu bangaba umayendi twamabye twanabwana mawoba tutahomulekana tusamaliro kwa losi ngatuketunga ngatukarwanisa ya toti obunganze libwinde echaravande mukonzo bana Kalembe ambu abojo bole munaka naswala neshe ya yewu nenyu munayikiri munayikiri betubo omusuburi akamenya elosi meikabane kayet kandi na mawoba kabane kati so ngaba eribwindi mu misiriza y'abana bo mukama mumenye mwana tungira mawoba kandi mumenye ende mwamatungene losi mwire tukiriranize ye tumenya hali asira mawoba tumenya hali asirene losi botwangiwoni aho butongole tunamusamalira inde project yatu kakoliyi kandi mbini kitu twira mwalosi kwisi kitwira mwa mawoba twanga namenya randa kende eko kwa bakalot abo ndi abakatwambira kwisaho bakatuleta elosi twanga namenya randa nenyu abo mubukwinywe nenyu mwana letire elosi mwa company yenu so sebere kwa bali kene tobina tuleko so ngaba saba indi tuire mwa mani tukitobire mwa mani ngaba mtu alo aba batesa boostinga aba emitu ali 15 ba boostinge nabande kutia twanga menya ribwa amawoba kandi kwa mwaka wakata sasa ngamata sasa kaitwa ngamenye nelosi ngayama sayisi ngaba sabinde muumege ebye business kwebekana byabite banobo mukama mosija kusiba
kale wasinja Mr. Muongo ngalengeka na Kilembe investments this is not the first time erikole loss hano aba directors bama bisomerisha report isinamwisha losses ke ende myaka kata shaba iba recovering a loss it is a technical loss in a way that a depreciation assets ye ikaleka ehabanika chi loss toma be kola no decision in tukaye ulesha mutoka one of the things eskaleke depreciation shesha mutoka na bimebiri omasho office ebikaluzinge value we have decided in tukaye biulaya so meaning ebikaye lomo income so next financial year a depreciation of assets share to sekisa keha because now we are disposing of some of the assets eskalete eskaleke shalo sezisha college ishas secondly simu kwebuba ahaba mabwa mutute a loss eye million sanju nini but now to the track mumu kasome report ya chairman asante shatore kitaka cha Ivan asante shatore kitaka cha Echeburulen asante shatore mu office eshamutok wa master nizia sika asante sana na kutsebu no kwa million minga sanju nini so eribu amba ma declaring to loss it shouldn't be a fear and chitongole chikachinga munabire kwesho munja only that odutango kwa mabuga elangenda ahama serelosi ne hai echo kubanza shisha sitsika depreciatinga ore twabelangenda tukakola tukayasi ulaya echa kabere so to it a business got a stable income mama very board echa recorder echikai bakako the business that income ya twenga tukebe ne mukola yetu yenga tukerebe ne mwasa so bibambi ya makoleka kama nyisendo onde mwaka loss eyeba masomo ile ngana bese yerehu kwe yaberewa so ngasa bende report yi iri kitu trabuba ama hanehu mzee
wasinja wahemba amana once again njekata soro
elwai
elwero genda bara erusirio monsia these audited financial statements kwa page 13 page 13 twamakanya kwa loss profit and loss milioni 15 neri 10 nerio wa mahatu kwa haworo ahadi total income twatu wete 1.1 billion nere kande total expense siama bya 1.7 billion total income is 1.1 total expense is 1.7 so that means the expense is more than the income you have nerate ngai vura injenga accountant and unasi in simple terms Asiasente income ese uto misaho nisuko twako expense neriba hatia ya company ya with 1.1 billion nereka the expense 1.7 neriba asente simwetu mwesirusa ya nere obusha kulole masobarate hana the sente savia from the previous what integers in the middle you bring forward the balance brought from the previous you add it to the income neribu wena tu neribu share so what loss
wake kusobarere auditor, are you getting it? I think the auditor has the answer. Are you answering it now?
Thank you very much, my fellow accountant, for raising that issue. But allow me explain to you. Allow me explain to you that some of the money that was spent, I told you, was coming from the previous year. I think I explained it very well. When you look at the statement on page 12, there is money worth 273 million. That is the money. And I explained it. I think it was just went off you. So that is the money which was used to finance. And you agree that when depreciations are also factored in, they lead to the loss. So when I would also like to give you a reference. You kindly go to the details of the expenditure and see. So the income alone, when you look at it, it is directly, even it is the money which was, that one is very easy to get because it was being reflected with third parties. That is the people who are supplying what? The power and the energy, what? The power with us and the ones which we are selling with. So they are, I think I have answered you. Thank you.
Oh, Andre, aria no misha koreria hangana.
Misha kulumu hotro.
From there, what's our honorable Lois?
Okay, wasinja ngali kule henra muhotro.
Erilwai.
From Chondo sub county. Amazima daliate. Omukolo makabwate mwame swaro makabwate. Hanu bagoba abya total income 1.197. Nere kabunu expenses kabatinga banda where they went paying. Expenses ambianene kwa income.
Atomusuberemo.
Expenses, when you go to the expenses down.
Page what?
Page 13.
Yes.
Ukarangere expenses still shabia in negative. They were supposed to be, they were accruing expenses, they were supposed to have been paid. But still they were not paid, they were pending. So that's why it's increased to 510 million.
Wasinja. So
thank you.
I think omusha kolama beretu na auditor ama beresobero omusha kolukato soro echaria buraya. Wasinja that. Honorable Lois anaotenue kosan.
abamemba aba Kilembe investments lo isibira bwambale nangana utamu nomwa megabu esha milioni 10 plus baitu ngale momo kwa bandu bali bambwe company ibi nakolire ki inaendirie mbere sinditahwama hanga simira chairperson na auditors report ama hai aberita sheyongera embere that business yatulimo yeremo ama yangabere nemu na maoba manene beitu ebitutumbireko bebe kale kama obinyanga kake ha. One, the government policy. A government yabere yebibwiti tulikitasya byatuka license yetu irikende mbere na rwe business yetu yabere sube nyuma. Mwasinja board members ninyomo maleke na hangana. Trauma biba umubiri munene awakereka either next AGM twaba usanga kwa mabwe kwisi next AGM twaba simatuti mwasinja eritwiho mwachuna echatulemo. Itwe trauma biba kangania tuti echichiende nechichiende nechichiende. Baitu area nguhieli na remenyesha asha powers samu wit na sha function is same shesike twanguhiriechi a business because for example expense page 13 administrative expenses omuntu abitu na wite eshe milioni rwenda satuni tano omulu tutawite eshe milioni visatu no musanju tukanza ne visatu no musanju ebyo bisube hayi ahese. For example, emberangi ngasina wind a business haya mahika situchita directors musanju hate chirairo chikabwa chetu twanjina hiko kubanga he batano tuketwa mabitu amo tukeshesha kwa mabande babere amawo babiyongera tukebitwa mabike yokuchi okwesha expense ngata example expenses ya milioni ruka china nini ese redistributinga expenses setu chiwote chatu ka distributinga konde babiri tuhakwachi ese ameta tukaye ulaya bekondo ese matoke sika distributinga so aho tuka expectinga he discipline man tulekisesha sangana ha milioni ruka he rukaga. Of course, it's a board na birisirako 74 million kwa board esyo tukeshike yako. Echinde chikanyama depreciation ya bindwebi. Na mwana lengiresha milioni 15. Esha milioni singahe 15. Esikutusia bana nasikumbe na munyoni wa Reverend Mukonzo siri etose wate trauma and truth. So a depreciation itwama siyetu abahambia yubaka mabai njenga bwana nikeriaho miaka 12 mwenikala tukala sava twama tutishie computer siende immediately hata wana meziani atano mukali yake evaluation kake kalichipa ese computer sikolechi siende na twangamenya tuti ese milioni 15 ese depreciation sirikisese bya 10 besatu tukatasya subahatu injenga langerende omubiri tulikitsa ndio butukubo kwa rosi twabere langere rosi ngokuya yasiri twamabyende tukauti erosi tukakola ki tukake hayayo ni the main business ya tukakola niya echibule ekyatuketu tetwakisubamu esitulitwa amenya priority y'ebindu ekyatukatasi akola amasanyalaze amenya abere tuwako necha kyakirolya mwaka kireta shareholder ana chonge chamala kina hangana esya sente shosine tukasi twala ma treasury bills kwitse tukatwala singa oyo ndi mubiri wachi ni we board ninyomuke etwamu mutingo kuhale singa tutwale singa na rumanya sya tusoborera mulike mutinama batsweba omulu nabyo kwa bodi mtu anatwa mwere ulesya ngomeshokosya assets ese matrutsun twabara tukaule litakali eburuli eka ngoma mtu ule ya milioni chinana emulesya ploti singa muka munabire wa maendu kabuti tula ye eka ye buruli tunimwe hama chinana situkihamu ngabe komebenga bekume bisatu kutse beni so batata AGM mwikiraye muti nahanu twangabere tukaleka hano si observations itwaenda okwabende neritumi twalenderere body yikale yikole priority program how mane management twama bya unfortunate Jenny si atabya hano chonga mbwana kolirechi anahulikirire njengare mumo kwa bari kurutinga Jane. Ye Jane is a very effective and efficient manager. Kutu tatu muwit a company anukumbe yangaberi yabri kolachi. Auditors ngaba ngaiteba. She's a very powerful manager. More powerful than myself as a manager of politics. Tuna hauma. Mukali yaka managing a company and not taking a care more than I managed my politics kunijono nabri college nabri subeka. So ngai tatu mwiremo bwisiwa a management hamahali heriongero mundo ya mukaita yuli critical mumuhiremo ni function yenyu as a what? As a board. Na abakoli tubairemo confidence babie monitored tuendi mbere. Echindi chindo change suggestinga twa ikembere nabirikanya na chapa sono endeno hano ebindungo kubere musoba hano twangabere etukayira na nani executive directors twanatuba wit oya mukabere kerahabwa katukukake okwa meeting enyasa akasiaba woticha habusana nebyebo sihayi enyuma chonge shale bya ku 24 hours inyakasa because ali setuotika halia last time mtu aberekera yakatemba leti katemba twamabirikira days welling have a technical knowledge eyababye bakulirechi eyababye bawit bwe mistake yetwatwa kolire mubanya bya full time. But what I will propose later is that we can have them retained for a shorter time to do a specific work. Neribimi bakolachi ibasubai. Banetu mwasinja rembole kerera erihimbali anga neko. Auditor's report is excellent. Thank you very much.
Wasinja honorable. Ngaya tunga bandu basatu. Owe bulyolia mzee yoyu na omagaru bentoli twanga chinga
kale wasinja kutsibu moderator amendangale Mbusa Robert Bamwega ngalo Bulembya division omwa chanzu chiwodi inje erisubya okubya amenda bikolo mwamba resho simbi abandu betu ahisi sultana tukabakengisha ndeke bali abalo bakaranga fisi auditors report luika kangania eros neryo twamokwa obuba tuti either esha shares obona shabera kola sete shabera hambwako wana masamalere kisibwati kasera neyo tukaisunza ambe tukasowolera omundu wa hisi nga mama wa ilelwe masule enyaenda enyabereke ngati esha sende echishashia zishetu chinakolera sete sineho emushashia zishetu tuwite mwembulo singa ama oba angabere twakakola angabere nyama ikasenga ha ali yabere sobokuchi okwasenga neryo omundu nyagenda inyana shati eyihe ekitebe sikiri kyakola kiti sikiri kyawa eyindi songa tuwiti obuba government muyasa yamingirira a project ya twatuwiti ngeikatwingiriraya kandi yamabya yikasa yamabya isiyangathuleha yamatusiyithuhangingiri kundi chamani mwakabwa ati tukinathuhaya tukakwabuba kusangwa government nemikolere yayo kuyikakola serisasura lubu tukasa government yi tukayethuhayayo truth erelaba mamiberechi eritwere sente shatusengaha bilioni sengahe
isatu
wasinja kutsibu
kale chamani yake kusubamu
Wasinja Mohindo Mugisa Eno Sakalombi Mpondo Rubiria Town Castle. Observation ya yere yetu Injero sisinda sagayu because that is a part of the business. Kandi tutolere itwayishe terayu erosi yitutolere itwayishe terayu because mwanganayo mwavere twale bintu for granted chonga twamikarahesi tukalebia where we went wrong. We may come up with something good. Nerinje mwabakanye werende omwemye kibiri twamendro kwa trend yeyi tokende sanga wetu ni mwinguro chingokochi ona wa shares mweche kanenga chikanyitabu kandi namarangire isi changanyitabu as a business manager chonga namarangire tuute shortcoming engum. I'm not going to figures, I'm going to human resource management. Mungenga wana mwarepoti ya before to the report. Omwa kwa wahwere twabere tuneha nutwasengwe tunesha butsebubu nungo kwa wabere banika. We discussed other alternative business activities. Mwe tukangania sisi atukende gandamu tukayakora. Chonga yatia tukasegero seriongera kweyende which is a very bad trend in business. Trama yakatingachi the human resource. Honorable isema that the chief executive officer is a sport manager. That is right. Chonga shenga kore decision ye UN a technical person rivi UN because mgenga rangara lio mwa report there is an office administrator, there is an askari, there is a driver. Really on management issues, technically, Jenny mweme mwisiga nani. So ye Jenny, na mwanga vene mvuyate, sandra trok, eriturushe mwechuniki. Avandu mumwe tuweruba. Asangweni ya natural nani ya naira vandu balenga babiri at that level abanga mutsona ambye bintu byetu bye discussing last AGM ambe hateve ni musobe ni mukanganya matunda na hatina mtu kindi kanyebi wenebe kandi jeni nyenye UN at that management level technical management level again kandi tukayaso mu elosi yabale korechi ayabale tusomera. So in my humble submission is tunemurangere ngo kutukareducinga our losses. Turangere tuti okwa human resource kwa hali ya geniolia akaronda somebody ayukamu watikaya technically to implement what is supposed to do. I submit.
Wasinja chairperson na moderator Amena Bwambali George from Bugoye sub-county. Aba member abekitongole kintu muleki ko buba ekitongole kinenda eke elosi ikapya usuneso omwabendi beto hali akande kandu akatubirwe bane tunako akabye mwa business abandu abatu kabweka nabakatubweka obuye working capital emikorere yetu yamabi yinindi abandu abatuwekire bamaba nginatutuha tukasasura abatuwekire business yekabe eyinendeke kundi ngaingasamalo ma report on page 12 abandu abatuwekire ni 3.4 billion shillings obu ni shabilioni 3 na mitwaro ane na munane abakatutuhaya ni milioni 2 na mitwaro ngaga na munane echuba member ininga winde obuna mamba current assets na current liabilities obo a day to day running a business so ngainga samalera twamatu hamabanzi tukitu nauta milioni runani ngechitebe so tule kindiko uba tunendeke a board mwasinja kutsibu kandi mamaleso ngokona mabwana bandi twende tunendeke ndeshare yetu yenda hambwaku tunendeke mwasinja kutsibu
kale wamaulegerera kalemba omusha kuluma kabura ya at a board mwakolirechi etu yesendesi echo kubanza twabere menya tuti a problem ya mabaneka subure microphone yen twara menyote problem ya mabanek mutu engaginga have a UEDCL trauma engaginga our regulator which was IRA Arabia ibakasa assessinga a problem mutu akora a joint inspection UEDCL ngaba akora generation IRA as a regulator then Kilembe investments ngaba hambirweko nero a report ya huruka yamasangana ndekwa nene a problem yere receivirwe na masenyerezi erieba karabyo koshewai so trobe kola that assessment trauma presenting a claim on my UEDC on my IRA because being a regulator now IRA yamakisubyo mwa UEDCL kunde yele problem so trauma handika an intention to sue etukahandikira a ministry with IRA mutu hababera attorney general twamahandikira ne MD owe UEDCL now issue yabere hiko kwa table yabo it got the attention our Ministry of Energy amatuberekera twama presenting IRA a problem and our claim they both agreed and they will have a genuine claim. As I talk now, a issue here we presented on my cabinet. Yabiri kwa cabinet ngokuba twareba kolabate iba tutuwa. Na chaleke yendo mwa cabinet because iribanza ya tusirio mwa budget karaninga a cabinet has to make a supplementary budget katu hachi iribanza yetu. So a issue haya mahiga yabirika on my cabinet Museveni agikara erangende baka instructing a Ministry of Finance kondelekasero mwa Ministry ya Energy erangende sende siba kola battery basituhe so area bura yatre mwamata kola haji that is the far the border has gone as far as in the bakari covering this money from the government. Yes, the government delays in the payment, but the government that's the experience I have because I've made the other claims of my government. Shengana delaying eri kutuanga kukashanza beitu in the long run asante bakisa kola battery ibakisa situ so tunauta mahange board in the SNDC tukisa recovering tramasi recovering tukarushia kushaba karutu haya aba members ibakishale bana witre echabanga hambako twenda kwa in report kwa in agenda yeah agenda number maybe before that na maberevereru Eika moving emotion reaching a report mundomo mahanu just briefly and we close the report tuende kwa chend
jenanga amena bakanyara masale kimbidi rech tabo sub county jenanga bunde atwa mahika amwabutuku abyatwa mabibu gakwebi tutala karanzu mweya masinja kutse
kamusa kendinga just ogo kwa will behind you
Muhindo Shaipuma Augustine amenai ngabo ndibyo twamabirikania kwa aba member gasekendinga
kale masinja tatu mulega tutunge kinywe cyuma ready aba auditors sada twangaba ritaringa bagaenda.
Thank you, Company Secretary. Members, I would like to thank you for analyzing the audit report very well and the contributions that you have given. And I would like to sincerely appreciate Madam is a real financial analyst because she has really explained the depreciation very well and how it can be reduced in the coming future. The gentleman there, something skipped on my mind on accrual concept. He answered it very well on that it is one of the causes of the other loss, and the loss will reduce if you put in place the strategies that you have already debated. Thank you very much. I remain Hilary Kisembo, Unihil Associates, Certified Public Accountant. Thank you.
Kale wasinja auditor, tuenda kwa chende. Mundu igiraniza tukienda kwa namba ya tukituka roko audit report tukenda kwa minutes area chera tani kamar omasha file folders set tunautemu esha action paper esha minutes kwa oma last AGM last AGM yabya bero 23 ko mwenda 2020 mtu akaniyo kuben kwa ebya trauma ya trabaha mtu alanga report ya ba directors trauma bwa tutre a company ya masejerizo okuya mabrenda aba directors bataseleba ya in the company bataseleba ya in the activity record ngabya ikatulusia ikatuletera kasende na remudu geranzi ndibangana kwa solar generation agency banking record sako na sha mini grids sha government yabya yiwete eschineho na rebya matakoleka a board yabise chuaringa echitak elo makase district land kase district local government echama kwa nale wabro report yiwe echitaka ekitu cha yaringa on a higher basis kwa ilipangisha okwa solar mini grids twabera tukaendayo twamasanga nenda hane company yababa barisambu isi managing a contract yabo ikahwa ku ezo makono kwa hiwaka wakasa tuota mahende omwako a contract yake bikahwa ku bangana pressure solar seno. However, from the technical assessment sichinanza ebindu byerihiramu nuko yangata shakolandeke okwachende echerote a company yenda mbere na rituhisha sende eshelosi yatulia kana yako yeno namabe kisobarera indi company ya record mubiri munene esa eno issue yeno kwa level ya cabinet eranginde bakatu sende sen echende mumwatwa motre esha sende esha ba directors bakolesaya esha ule nyumba basihire okwasha ledgers kwa basi convertinge masha dividends shares yashendo kwa ledgers ya bantu so a company travel chikol che mukasama oma report ya chairman ndio boli share travel tukabarera ya mahamba siringi 200 so utaimuzinga shangu 200 nesaka wamo taimuz shares yawo wete ukendelangera kwa ledger yao ngatrategera kwa share eshabu neneji share certificates travel signinga sinomo office you at liberty a picking a certificate esha dividends kwe esha sende esha tokole satu ka ule nyumba eribe skenda kwa account ya shareholder then mtu autabe Unihil tutasha bakoma eribya babaririri aba mwakono indeed baba mabatukolera omubiri kandi mwabiri ba simu echende mwamutre esha sende shatuka haba directors ngokutu chitaute business wasike haye balege bakara shatungo musara ke kwenene kwezi omwaka tamu yetu omwaka otwa maunzon aba directors abasiba chitunga yetu ketamu enumeration kwezi ndi shaba katunga buli kotale echaba katunga emitwaro abere ebakasomwa meeting kokulia transport na lanji yabo bati seriveri ampu tukaba hamo musara sibachikora sibachitunga sindesho musara na banimukoreki banimukorera almost busa tukaba transport refund so ebyabeke okobya twahanura omwandeku eyilabire mutukiraniza tukisa tuka presentinga action paper for the interest of time eshemina tsenahu ngasaba ni tuoma yebya twahanura beno twanga bichinga hamabe hano mundu yebwati muthu hanulo kuchira besina tachowa wangana chira izinga noko twangaenda kwa chintu hanaigaze suyo kwa byenyuma kale mbona ote suyo kwa byenyuma akoba kwa kulieria amenyumeria
mwasinja kutsibu amena no mulengeni bahati Joakim Rekisinga erisu kwa page 12 page 4 nganza habura kaki kuna banga ya somo kwa human resource tuute abakuli nga basatu n'abakawotiki bawa abandi bamabini ba volunteers chamalenkana chite sente shabandu siri at risk kuna mangalangira CEO alenga sachiri CEO we company na mwanga bya council wetu the land friend Kanyonyi liba volunteers na ribibo bakabyaho bat kundeka yama bibe ni ba volunteers kande ko company mulemo bire mutina mwenda mbere ekigama nyiseka siri operating fully kundisiuta aba employees council shall employed bangana byetumaite eri obutisiba out na appointments so ngasaba habraka abantu bangana be company ni ku risk akwa cheresuba mwasinja kutseba
kale kwache volunteering of course from the AGM where twabanga tusahali business our directors mbatwa batu bagende kolera bule sende bakatuhwa omubiri wabo ngokutwabua over call only that tukaba ha omudaka kasomwa meeting etwamuha yatuketa mu transport refund area moletra neri musubya eka and that transport refund is between 150 and 200. Now kena se vale situnga buli chero kunde situjute business nyine na situlikalo buli chero tukadukikala tukabanechera hanu lako etwababerekera na etwabeshe sendesh. Now equally on the CEO and the company secretary one to now to appointments. It is not true that secretary appointments to now to appointments as resigned by the chairman board. However kunfana tukokolera company enyuma mutarangera tukendeye company molo kwetu tukundisachiri business na tukativeta we shall struggle with the company and be there with the company ikisabe ikatungesha sente then we shall pick up from where it has picked up. So tunimugore mibiri ngokutana tukakolayo and we are giving the company the equal time and the resources ngokutana tukasereria it shouldn't be a big worry because it will a day-to-day running of the business that will require someone to sit in the office 24/7. Ale we mibiri amenana ikakola wana ba technical team na financial department tukala samale business ikakola wa kunde mtu kawa watenge solar generation. It was a technical venture. Omundu yabi involved in kutsave was the engineer. Engineer twatu with a yatwa lebone UDCL mwatu wadicha kutsevu omurange tukakolongana nayo running a project ye solar generation. However, it is so unfortunate indobere tukasindibwa yasingura the government yabo nditubya tukinale kire because it was majorly a technical. So areas route abakoli banene it is not a big worry kunde omubiro tukakora. It was a technical thing nerege tukabya na engineer utukobunene itunahambana ne board. So I think nero a boarding ngoma barhaburayo I think no ndamakana chivula yako at the human resource itolere yabyaho. I think the board is going to look into it and employing the human resource that are going to implement isha decisions isha makoleka munabire. The board is taking note. So anaria movingana
masinjerie mune munyikiriria tata chairperson muka benefiting ko experience yanatungira mwa board habwe emyaka 12 yana savinga moyo bwana twe tukasukaribia board member twatuka volunteering iukimanesha sente shao ewaso mwa board meeting twabere twa complaining ndambi twamata akwinzi wa maireta kwa sente shao eshabali ya kusasuri ya converted into shares kuika hatwatungira opportunity eye irikola maoba na government ya bitwira mwe business so ngali asaba endaba ka volunteeringa mwe sinja kutsibitsibwa no ni indigenous company na tutwanje nasa itwa volunteeringira muyo. For example, I would be happy mwala wa baguma oyulie bwira halia amasana yakatwa 2 weeks akasomesha abantu kwitse a board okwa system ya treasury bills itukebetwa mabera na empowered board. So a principle a volunteering to continuing nayo embere. The financial expense can be controlled by the board that we have. Echakabere action pepe no mwasiere a resolution ya twakola okwasha shares about less naro hanusimwetaka reporting ako ngamu mwakola hachi momoka kwa kuchatubura no mwabono na ingalunga nakalindire hano mwa action paper. Please eyano mission mukamendinge mukalete hano ke kabere subula kundi twabiri improving. 3 injenga bwindi nanga sha solar upgrading the solar systems eyanga twala 400 million esha sente so sewit ngali esaba AGM itwabitu nakipingiria yo pending a government no mweyangali futingachi a ban because one iketu twalaka ndio mwehandika bakoliba nene isi twesine system eyonga siyabiri kwa volongoto ketu katese tukarepairingai itwasange siyanga fangiso ninga. So let's wait for government policy. Let us suspend expenditure on this until further notice. Mama kolecho mama kolandeke nga ikala hesi ngasi maba board members aribiane nyumale beresubo kwa volunteer basis because sometimes the board can be very expensive. Kama basaba twama basaba mwendi embere nachi ne volunteer basis imunimu watichi beitu nenyu mukolengi itwe wamabe yera tromano koratu bakatende kuhesiria kuleta nero wakole claim because it means abantu sebe abakakola bakasomwasha ngoratu bamabisi bawite echabakanihira eri hayo namikala hes masinji.
Tukaenda aika muvinga ebya tuhanula kutubikirira yani ndiye mama wama muvinga handaka uti mama ana muhendo muvinga to adopting minutes as a true record of what transpired with the amendments aika secondinga Kasibere Joseph Richard Rumba nama secondinga kale wasinja tatu. Next on the agenda tukaenda ku our external auditors ebodi yabere ikikala yamasamalende abali atubarara aba tutashaba umaya kundiria le umarangero mubiri wabakora ne current situation yatu abyamu babere kola mubiri munene so iyinge board ikasaba ete ababariri aba tuba umaye singa mukabwa mutichi mangana wote mama bagane bodi kiaro ndi abandi mama wote mama umi ibaba umi mukabwa mutichi tuba umaye tubane abakawa mutuba umaye nakalembe naneko abakawa mutubane kale mundu muuma atubane so aba twama baumia kale tukaenda kwikoma aba directors aba hiaka omaripoti ya chairman makababwera ati hali aba directors babere aba mabarekora emyaka mwenda imwamule Mr. Bwambali Erikan na kama shamba Jane a term of office yabo yamaberehwa. However, I've seen some mixed reactions and mungarangirayo kwa WhatsApp now ndikamarama katsukerikania kwa manja acha ebrahero betu bikabwa bete omundu yatuka kwa mama director akakora emyaka mwenda nishatamba tumasiko badingi kabye makamwenda ikabe yaberehwa tuletwa tukakoma onde mundu omundu oyo anganata shei iraba mukom for another one term ya emyaka 12 lereryo ekiraro kikabwa kiti a board yanganabya kwa bandu batano kwehi eba bya musanju so it is upon you everyone ngokwa masaka bandu batano and depending on the circumstances and the situation ya tulemu muleka batano bashara bakara ninge company kwema ba muteye abatano abane bake muleke tongera kwa babere bangabya musanju twanga kom singasi ngamukabwa mutichi now Moma kale mamolia moyu nomusha kulolia bandu basatwa hano nindi aha mukonzo mama ana omusha kuloyu nolia
wasinja mkulu Reverend Ezra Yongeza Mkonzo India sabende eres segekera ahatwa mahika kengo kwa tukali mbingaga tukabulikira rero bukacha njengalo ngala musande sage kano wonde ribwe esha bilioni musanje namabengale benanga nawo bashanga utinga utesheya esha milioni 15 so ngabwira kwa chage umabana ngakhala nganasi changalo lako kunengalo namabere kabare njingo musubinzi ndisha bilioni musanje obose kayabya amini tando bakindi bazemwe biru disatu kurona mabere bara nero mwamanyiri yaho bashobo yaberehwa ngino nabere bara kunabere wobo kundio bole mundu bali bakabazya mwaka kasatu beto ebi byahwera naho weche wahemba kundi sitwandiresha sende shetu sekata shakanye kispesika kanye ngasame ndimwichiriraye abatano batura ningeye nokwen express nemukolachi enamuka na ingalo nabirya playinga enda nangata obukulu baitu kuna malangera bali abakikolo mubiri tulekitashaka twako
oya hawe nyumolia wesati we nyumolia
Bwambale lewo siyo mubatsi erilwecha lumba wamenai singale yenda luhande okwacha reverend yamabu anganzi ntuma ya bandu batano wesinja
mama ana mubatsinde
I personally concur with 5 people, but I'm suggesting that you taught us something, the directors who are not permanent, so that we can identify some 1 or 2 people whom we know can add value or can bring more ideas to our company. Like this man here, he had applied, and I know he has a wealth of experience that can even get us partners. So that he is not a permanent director, but let him be co-opted so that he can help us. Thank you.
Kale wasinja mama. Mama oli amabwate. Maybe I will explain later. That's where what at.
Amena wengale bwamba lyerekana elulenya kabengo. Omobutu kutukakola twama banike tuwuti chuna omwakampuni yetu. Kandi nabali chetu babiri hayo bati balikete shatunga omusara. Ngauma yecha Reverend Eliebuwa nasi echendise cherega chechikali kembali endi natendiria obun yetuko kali atrena ria kuhamba lubu. So abatan tutayenda anabo narina chama mama buga abangabo wetichere hamenge isi tutia mbutukiba tu nabuba tu weticha nukwe company yetu yangali kiriutik
wasinja tatu asali abangali hali tingali
wasinja akwame nabakanyora masale kimbedere rekitabo ayollo ko borosebwa yikali ko mubondu ena ngabwende singale aho kana ko chazarva mukonzo erbya abaro ko baba na baba na mwana
wasinja
kuseba
omwasinja kutsebo amena wenga horomwe kibendi simbilisiyo South Africa eriwe butale na ingaenda mbere nere erikiriria echareverand mukonzo amahiraho kainga namusaba board directors abali embere tuere tuyamba neriramo umutima nuko ekintu kyetu kino kirekendisha watu katsema tukasanga hano mwasinja
asaha then finally omusokoli
the seconding what Reverend Mukoza
so
said.
by processors abakabwambo tushiyala na ba directors batano abakabwambo yehe twongera ku babere yama byamuma babere basa so babere bamawa basinjara kom kale agenda yetu I think yamasa okwa muhindo ngaya ngende sabene tukayenda kwa closing remarks ya honorable Lois agibwa kinywa cyuma ekwasubuka the chairman omuhyaka yekatumbe mbetayo mu makono na chairman owe board ina closinga tukitwa akibya bi closinga etwa saba no etwa mbesha themes. Then from the anthems, it was sub.
The chairperson of the board, your board members, abakulu ba madini abatuli nabo hano, abakulu ba government abatuli nabo, aba shareholders nyobosi abakine hano nabane muenda namatungo muisa awere bawira kinyo cyuma kandi nebingana shareholder ngo kunabiribuwa ekyo kubanza ngendisi my board of directors habwe ritekanize olukuratulu nolwa AGM olulwa mabyamalo butuku aba member bane mu demandinga kwa mukutu ambo olukuratulu byeho twangabyo mwabuma twangale bye business yetu ngayikene mene olukuratulu nonga bashime habwe ribanika kundi twamata shalangira ekisisani ekihyaka eche business yetu ngokwaere a business yes kwenene mutu aluzinga the main government business by to a potentiality ya eyebinde bindwe byetwanga kola yeneho kundi government yinawite esya program esya ngatu source eyo kubanza ye parish development model twanyinalangiro mwabamemba betu netutu nimulobingira hauma ibatunga more and more benefit from the parish development model. Echakabiri twanjinalobinga NRM government twamatu naitere ne hauma erilangira ete ikatuwatikaya okwaluhandilwe sako because after all mubatuha ekisembu kyekino kine hano munga kisomaku iba ni mubwambu KIL tulibauma okwabali efficient and effective on my business. So I only rider ine ngali asaba in the new board nabandi abangatoka twaprochinga ba minister betwa batuwit obo abe bushenyi kunde ne bushenyi yine nabatuwite hanu nabandi abana byayo bakinaute influence twangalangira tutie government yibyene tulikiwa kandi babiri tusimu ngabwindi ekyo ngamakisaba kandi ngekikoma kwamania erangane tukaprochinga wa honorable minister yuli hanu minister Kabyanga Godfrey twangalangira ruti tukabenefitinga okwa level yesako. We want to benefit from the president direct. We want to benefit from prime minister's office. Eka mobilizinga our development partners abakabe bakasa hanu. Ngabwindi risimerio nere kolokotsibu kandi tunemusaba ne government tutitwirikira mungeriyo siyosi yitu supporting because of who we are. Munyikiriraye nga congratulatinga eri welcominga neri congratulatinga a new board emwabiri to the new chairperson Mr. Patrick Saipum. Allow me to request you to stand and show you here. Ngawindi by acclamation twabire mwa ngerera omolo tukabebo watu aba body member batano bamuhangane abatwame bwatu tebasube twangabangerera oyite hundi wahe ni babiri abateho. So congratulations mama kolo mubiri munene nenye twama beba assignment mwende mukole no buholo abalweku nabo namabasaba muhangane kundi bale siwe yihanganie ye obone nje nanga kuhanganie ndo hangane na ondo yamulia mukasa vinganayo endi mwasinje rekolo mubiri munene erima nire chindwe chikaza ndwanga chikawa is very very difficult. Nerimi ukaenda mwa government ukafacinga cabinet minister ukafacinga ministry bakakwikiriria bakakuhe promise a request ya ikahiko kwa cabinet agenda mule powerful tubatarero mabyala neribu akati akamama hambie tutuma kahambie peaceful sa hatabyechi nerungaita ya democracy eyiringe yebye omwamitima yetu. Each time we hand over peacefully. Kuyaho mukanga naibwe new board ahamasanga umama hika okwa date yetu ilo mwa cabinet yekaya iko mwa cabinet ya iko le resolution neribu ba directing a minister of finance aende wa parliament and supplementary nerumuna no wirangwa parliament yabirila bya supplementary ngasaba new board kwa munativite mutia ewa minister wa finance mwende mumubula ye supplementary yo ngatunemu kutsese tusemani bilioni 3 bahirire mwa singa narumubakanga nayo obulito batu wito bule agent otherwise we get dissolved our auditors babiri hey mukende munemukolesia loss 2 years you'll be no more if you don't act expeditiously. So namasabo mweli nali aba member aba and kwa munangu haye mutia tulangira tute supplementary eya very love trobi tunem ke musabe na ye kasubako ye government si yeba se bilioni 3 murundi mu bakeba makake kake tulange utina ikasubako tukayamu finally kwa luhandi lwai muende musube ya ba members aba shareholders ne mwangane tutasiongera migabu omemba mu mamaka na chahanula twongerechi twongere migabu vani tutwa maulie kampuni eno ounde mundu wa kimyayo akamanejinga ivano ngaba abere ngaba satu kandi bwe akatukaliria ibwe service yetu anje na here ituke yikubya wom buli district inaote ayi kemanira netuke ayel tulitwa mabire district eno yo kwa mutindo ehani obuuma ne bushenyi kabohe tulikibulikira tukaulia company yetu. It is having challenges, but those challenges are not insurmountable. Mamuko wa munyani watu ilia lwebushenyi akatuletera very good proposals. Ngasa besa proposals yo tata. Can you leave them in writing for the board to consider? I even think the coffee can do very fast. So let us have those proposals, the board considers them, we take up some of them, and we remain with this cooperation and solidarity as members. Twamabwa tutie company atukese dissolvingayo hanie act eyatwakoloma parliament ngokwa muka dissolvingachi company mukaira process ibakole evaluation na eka commercial center na roketwa shubul ketwa tram itwa irabwa haba kadizolo vingai na re process iyi iri ala kitweba nditwa twamba tukayo ma process iyi bakero ndeba mabetsinda ka business ketu itwa nebula kwa tukakolachi kwa tukimuka so ngaba simamwa sinjeri dissolvinga that KIL yendi mbere mwongere mwe migabo nabatebe ngira mwingire twangala te business yetu ikatwasira again ebeke byana mabwe byeke nibene nabinene mwasinja kutsibu erimbolekerera ke mukenda n'obuholo namashi alenga lelo isibira ubwambale former director wa Kilembe Investments
wasinja kutsibu
kale wasinja honorable area tray breakfast ambo moyo mande mukine alinga mwaka planning abantu banene ebyali abekineyo because mtu ka planning abantu banene ke mama sabaki so ebyali abekineyo ebyatulya ko breakfast two abantu bali kwa line balya I think bakatunga akasente kere basubyeka nekake kutsevo betu mumenya mutaso tukiri mu business mugeka treatinga ngaka lunch akamulenderia kwa kiru kya munabiri so mulenga aberekere chairman wetu omuhyaka na yatwa kinywe cyo
wasinja CS our shareholders our Kilembe Investments our founder members our tutsukira a company eno the outgoing chairperson board Tata Erkana Wambale, fellow directors, naba directors ababitu savinge nyuma mwasinja area sa gatsuka nerisime board naba shareholders hawe confidence yabanyirirem bakawambwerenda mbere ngatsune Tata Erkan na ingikirira ya neriwinde ngendienda mbere nolukwamiro lomwe mambereria ne board board ni abandu batano sinekola injuwene ale wenga bimanira bule itwabo situkiwatikania mwasinja anga pledginga neribakakashanga ba shareholders ende tukindi ende mbere nirulolya Kilembe Investments embere nelangira ngoko twangakola erisasa imania yoho so trust amwe mambeyo ngabwira na ba members abamashalo kwa board ende tuke kola chatwanga hika kwela ngirango kutwa masimania Kilembe investments eri tukamnawire tukahimba ke tukongera okobya chama neli anamukola simbu inde tukaitsuka ibindu bihyaka betu ngako namulangiro of course business kuyabere henduka kengo ko travel luzinge main business ya try tukakola I think echikulu nge body mbyaka tukasa malengo ko twangasa re-strategizinga tuhendulemo kundi twamabi twabe kwa business ya masenyerezi business yese tuchiwiteyo chikama isende na tututolere etwahendula mekolere na meng so echo changa pledginga I think kwa responsibility ya mama tuhereria echikulu muno lyalangira ngoko twamasasa yi positioning ndi how tulwe omulubo wetu tukatayaramu sehachere tulangira ngoko twangasa tayara hand ngalengekana ya indine board echikulu echinde ngoko tukakola bindu ebihyaka lyerilengesya erebye tunamutunga ebinywe yamule nesha advices nere tuhabula nditukirengesya kwentu tunaute WhatsApp group ya tunamkolesha ndikukanabe kunamwasa ebirengekanyo emwatu havyo our friends from Bushenyi Bweju, we have been sharing and they have some brilliant ideas and suggestions. I think this, as shareholders, you have mentioned that we can be co-opting members. I think we, as board, I request my colleagues, directors, to be co-opting these colleagues from the other side and any other person who would be having business ideas. I think once we call upon you, friends and colleagues, kindly be coming over to help us. But most importantly, you have heard that we need to do some bit of sacrifices. So when we call upon you, whether you will be footing up to Kasese or we come up there, kindly try to help us with that. Actually, unzairana chu na uresi speech nene nga pledginga ende ngokumama tuhere ya trust riba sasa bembembetia tuka pledginga on behalf of board and tukendi implementinga esha decisions shenyunga ba shareholders na reskola ngoko mwama tulaire mwesinja riunzerera ngasa sasima tata muzerekan nabwe mentoring yaluni anamukola yatatro inaberenge iko oko office kwerukoki yiwanyi mentoring akanyisiro office eya maet namasa namamukwa mama Kilembe investments kandi yono mambereria office so ngamusima echo kikakangana ndi omubiri anamukolao kandi obona mentoring eriyesha obona yakale kolandeke obona ingowa mwasinja kutsibu mwasinja embulekerera tata kakusaba ndi addressing abantu ba
Chairman Wasinja abamemba ba KIL tukayaunzera rukuratu nangesunzira basima habere umisirizia mukabyahu nekandi ngabasima ende muwete a company okwamutima wenyu. I love you for that. Kundi I have been talking to the top authorities in Ngababure Ndibwanu, omuntu amatamberinga with the Kilembe investments. You are like tambering with hot water. And even up there, they know that Kilembe investment is the best company in Uganda. And by the way, I want to tell you that they had almost given up merging this company with other companies, UADCL. They were looking at Kilembe investments, and Kilembe investments was doing well. And they was always telling them, that is good, and for us we are faithful. Now, Ngesunza erisimeba ebodi ya yendwe nayo. We have not had issues my body at Raye. Everybody would come and bring an issue and we discuss it amicably. So God gave us servant mkonduninge with that spirit. Kenata saba abantu abosi and mama banana issue ayambanganira ku Kilembe investments. Please don't put it on the WhatsApp. You come to the office. Must move at my office. Now but some you as if the board is not doing the work. Ganasi, some of you abali amukalengikanya mama berangira mutukusi birwe nibisoba abimara mukabu. So please, when you have issues, come to the office. Nervake kureche bake explaining. Kanda I'm confident in the etimu yana masiga enyuma ikeko rumubiri. So musupportinga yo mukumura mukanyi supporting kundi nenyu sinde nataba no mundu yana mubwendre amanyi disturbing imukanye elepinga. So it is my appeal that no mushaka na yumumwele pinga obona ingendenga na mumwele pinga ebintu byamananga ngendenga na muyika kutunamu etunamu anura. Otherwise musinja kutsibu kenga beisunzira erusubayu buhoro musinja kutsibu.
Kale wasinja chairman tugenda hangana etumbesha Athens, then from Athens etwasaberwa na Reverend Mukonzo.
Tutimize na malengo yetu, jumuiya yetu sote tulilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike, umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu.
We pray. Glory and honor be to you, Lord Most High, for the wonderful great time we have utilized wisely. We have come out with ideas that will better our best performance as Kilembe Company Limited. Utegaye niriheri omuisa aba director betu ababare kolande kyomubiri aba mauza tamu yabo omamerikana numora kama shamba kandi nababali abakakonde mutuherezia utegaye bunyamuhanganira bongaro bwenge obukendereka kandi tutashabya etuneho kandibwa etwakolandeke boko tukalengekana yago ubakolesaye nitubo suteria mitima yerisika ende sitwende kola losi omweli nali yawo ukabuti abandu bakole na haba katake sente ihabanike endundi yatuka kusaba kundi mutengero mwa business yeyi etukanza rewoba tubane kiritu wa teacher We pray, Lord God, that will bless us with safe journey mercies back home. Receive God's blessings today, tomorrow, and forever and ever. Amen. Abakaba mutokesa bomwali na lya tatana lya mugala twamabya abanene na baisilamu na bakahotala.
Innovation Media, creativity for all. 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 Innovation Media, creativity for all.